breaking news, Extreme Weather Center is open as the GTA gets blasted by heavy snow and strong winds. Police telling drivers to delay non-essential trips.
No, you said that. 30 seconds. That wasn't the police. That was you.
Traffic center sending out warnings to all the other drivers
said delay the
travel plans are being urged to cancel them. The Prime Minister says new restrictions will be announced in the coming days. He's confident Canada will get the vaccines we purchased despite threats out of Europe.
Leafs lose Jack Campbell to a leg injury as Toronto was once again in Calgary tonight. And will anybody be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Sports at 15.
It's still a mixed picture on markets and a choppy session in the U.S., and we could get a look at results for another COVID-19 vaccine soon. Business at 26. Today's time, 2:01.
All right, now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Gary Prunskis.
QEW remains closed in both directions in Burlington. That's the QEW shutdown from the 403 to Guelph line for a collision investigation. So heavy delays in both directions. Also keep in mind the northbound Ford Drive ramp to the westbound QEW, that's closed because of another collision. And we just had a collision clear westbound 403 on the ramp to the QEW Oakville. So a heavy backup westbound 403 as you approach Dundas to that QEW ramp. And north of the city, traffic spotter reporting snowdrifts on the highway on the 400, anywhere north of Highway 88. Use extra caution no matter where you're traveling across the GTA. We have treacherous driving conditions, blowing snow, really reducing visibility. And another thing to keep in mind is the westbound 401 ramp to the 410. That remains closed because of a crash. Your next report is at 2:11. Now with the forecast, Denise Andriachi.
Winter weather travel advisory still in effect. Now, the heaviest snow has moved out of the GTA, but we still have light snow bands making their way through with these strong gusties winds taking up that snow, maybe making it look like it's snowing a little harder than it really is and really hampering visibility. We'll continue with this active weather on and on for the next few hours. This evening, some freezing drizzles move back into the forecast as the winds ease just a little bit. We let go of that wind chill. Overnight tonight, our low is near -7. The guaranteed high today, 0.
680 News Time, 2:03.
This is the worst music.
Well, it's been shaping up to be the biggest snowfall of the new year so far, and it certainly is going to last pretty much all day and into tonight. And as you've been hearing in traffic, not only is it hard to see out there, there are a number of crashes. So the message is stay home if you don't have to go anywhere.
680's Irene Precklett is at the Extreme Weather Center and joins us live with more on what's going on out there. Irene.
Sarah, the Extreme Weather Center is brought to you by Subaru Confidence in Motion. Well, shovel arms are getting a workout today as parts of the GTA deal with the most snow we've seen so far this month and this winter. Gerald Chang is a meteorologist at Environment Canada and says western areas of the GTA places like Oakville and Mississauga are under a snowfall warning with about 15 centimeters expected.
We've got an east wind, so the farther west you go, the more snow you're going to get. So certainly if you are out in Etobicoke, if you're going to Mississauga, Halton, for example.
The rest of the GTA under a winter weather travel advisory. That advisory extends east all the way to Kingston. Peel Police Constable Akil Lukin has this advice if you're thinking of leaving home.
Drive according to road and weather conditions. We're supposed to get up to 15 centimeters today, so if you don't need to be out on the road today, you can postpone your essential trip for another day. We certainly do encourage you to do so.
And this storm is
you don't have to be on the road today. You can postpone your essential trip for another day. You're a genius, bro. You should have stopped that drive according to the conditions.
And the roads, as you've been hearing, of course, the situation can be downright nasty in most areas today. Now, since
you get shot for not fucking stepping on the gas at a green light, bro.
Burlington area, with all the mess that he has been seeing this afternoon, he joins us live now with some of those details. Mark.
Steve, snow, slush, and gusting winds, and a lot of crashes, basically, anywhere you go in the GTA in this weather system. Gene here called our traffic center with a warning about how bad it is up on the 400 up in Cottage Country.
There are actual snow drifts on the highway, thanks to the blowing wind and blowing snow all over the place. Clouds are not out yet. Roads are very slippery.
And while Gene says he's pretty happy to see a lot of drivers with their full headlights on, this caller says otherwise.
There are so many cars driving without their full running lights on. They're just driving with the daytime light system on.
And from my own drive into work today, I can tell you I saw so many crashes on the westbound 401 beyond Guelph line that at one point fire trucks could not get through the traffic jam. The highways are certainly worse outside of the main cities of the GTA than inside, but basically everywhere you go today, take it slow and take it easy. Reporting live from Burlington, I'm Mark Douglas.
Well, the QEW remains closed between the 403 and Guelph line in Burlington after a deadly crash early this morning. 2 women were killed when their westbound vehicle crossed over to the eastbound lanes of the highway, hitting an oncoming car and a pickup truck. OPP Constable Kevin Westhead tells 680 News they're trying to figure out why the car crossed over.
There's no concrete explanation as to why the Mitsubishi went through the center median ditch as of yet. The speed may have been a factor as there was no traffic or weather conditions at that time.
Police say the Toronto bound lanes of the QEW could stay
all day long. You'd be
until
looking at
5 this afternoon.
The board government pressing
They used to
the federal
tell us
government to make
every
COVID
make
tests
and model
mandatory for all
every
international
fucking
travelers landing at Pearson Airport. Premier Doug Ford touring Pearson this afternoon says it's simple.
You land in Toronto or other areas, as far as I'm concerned, they have to be tested. Simple as that. We aren't the first country to require this, and we wouldn't be the last.
Airport.
So I can't figure out for the
Peel region. Yeah.
why we are testing every single person that comes through this airport.
Land in Toronto.
Ottawa
You're
as
not
well.
in an
Ford says
airplane.
30,000 people flying at Pearson every week are on out-of-country flights.
If you made travel plans to
Oh, it's up at Toronto City Center Airport.
Now
That
might be a
doesn't
good
exist
time to
anymore.
cancel
It's Billy
them. Prime
Bishop.
Minister's warning
Two
that
Billy
travel
Bishop
restrictions
airports.
are
That
coming
won't
soon
cause any
as
confusion. It's not
vaccine
like
supply concerns
flying
continue
is
to grow.
a specific
We get
type
the details from our
size.
Parliamentary reporter Cormac McSweeney.
The bad choices of a few will never be allowed to put everyone else in danger.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says
Really?
nothing is off the table when it comes to travel restrictions, both internationally and between provinces. And an announcement will be made in the coming days. The government is putting the finishing touches on new measures, with the Prime Minister saying they don't want any restrictions to have unintended consequences on trade in our supply chains. Trudeau hasn't ruled out strict travel bans or Australian-style quarantine rules that force people arriving in the country to stay in a hotel at their own expense. Meanwhile, the European Union is threatening to restrict exports of vaccines, which could impact our Pfizer and Moderna doses. The Prime Minister says he's spoken with the CEOs of both companies and received assurances.
Canadian contracts that have been signed and the delivery schedule laid out will be respected.
There will be an emergency debate on vaccines in the House of Commons later today. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill. Principals and vice principals from other areas have been brought into a downtown public school that serves special needs students after 22 educational assistants refused to work over safety concerns. 45 students are currently going into Beverly School on Baldwin Street, and Toronto Education Workers Union President John Weatherup says staff and parents want rapid testing at that school.
I think it's the integration of special education and COVID. The government has
Right
not
downtown.
funded
Where the
COVID
fuck's
properly,
Baldwin again?
special education in particular. So the issues they deal with special ed students, masks getting ripped off, and it's both a problem for the staff because it's a health and safety issue, as well as the students.
And the Toronto District School Board says talks are
When
ongoing
the
now
fuck
to
would you
address
think
those
you get an
concerns.
autistic kid to wear a mask if you tell him
in connection
to?
with a shooting
The
in
fuck
Brampton
is wrong
last
with
year.
you?
This happened on August 22nd at a
And
business
this is where
in
you have
Fort Kent
cohorts and
Steeles
doubles,
area.
friend
A
lists.
19-year-old man was taken to a trauma center. A 33-year-old man from Toronto and a 31-year-old Brampton man are both facing attempted murder and gun charges.
In just 30 seconds, we'll have a check on the price of gas.
680 News Time, 209.
Nearly 1 in 2 of us will be diagnosed with cancer in our lifetime.
Fuck off, we got airborne AIDS. We can deal with it first.
That's why right now.
I survived this airborne AIDS. I'll worry about cancer. The fucking vaccine might give us cancer. Nobody's talking about that. What's there? Formaldehyde, aluminum, mercury, and there's human fetal cells and rotten chicken eggs in there. Wow. They spoofed that. They made a joke one of the TV shows up here about that in like 97, I think it was. Canadians are not into the flu shot. All the idiots that take it, oh, I get it, then I get sick. Well, you're a fucking genius then, because apparently that's not for you.
Don't come, so I got a couple racks today. Didn't think I'd make it, but I made it back today. Cashing out in the bank every day. Put in work,
Oh, it's going to be a snowplow. The fuck? Grinding noise. Fucking hell.
Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, like I won the lottery. I just wanna party, like I won the lottery. I just wanna party, like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, like I won the lottery. Where you at? Hit me up, where the money, where the stacks? Get this paper, get this cash. No, we here, with my niggas in the trash. Put it in, flip it quick, get it back. Add me up, with my niggas in the room. Cleaning up, sweeping up with a broom. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Double cup, double cup, double cup. So I got a couple racks today. Didn't think I'd make it, but I made it back today. Cashing out in the bank every day. Put in work, put this work, getting paid. Where my niggas at? Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I wanna party, like I won the lottery. Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? No one on these flames. Fucking Friday night, I ain't playing no games. I'm that West End chick that was raised in the lane.
Anywhere north of Highway 9 for dispatch or congestion, and all city streets right up by the traffic light.
That's like 3-4 feet tall. Big file. I think your lane goes this way, now goes this way. My conditions will say nothing about driving.
Keeping drifting the snow all around. The heaviest bands have moved on, but it's still pretty unsettled out there, and we'll pick up another few centimeters likely. Travel advisories are still in effect here for the city of Toronto. We're sitting at -2 right now, feeling like -11, with a wind gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour at the moment out of the northeast. The guaranteed high, 0. City News Time, 2:13.
Now the dynamic funds market minute, and for that, let's check in at the business center. How has the day been, Chris?
It's been up and down and all over the place, Steve. I guess the one bright spot here is we're talking about very modest moves, so nothing to sort of make your stomach flip. The Dow right now is up by 49 points. The Nasdaq higher by 25, and the S&P, which earlier today hit an intraday high, is now up by 2 points. I should say an intraday record. Now, Bay Street, on the other hand, has very consistently been lower. It's down by 106 points, 17,799. Gold is down $5, 18.53. Oil is off 15 cents, 52.62. And the Canadian dollar up by 0.3 cents, 78.76 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
When it comes to investing, it's time.
La gestion de l'épidémie notamment, et donc les résultats catastrophiques de cette crise sanitaire ici au Brésil commencent finalement à poser problème pour Jair Bolsonaro, en tout cas.
So this is the time right now where 250 doctors on the front line are saying long-term care needs more help. But hold on. Doug and Christine Elliott say, no, we don't need the help right now. Who are you?
Up quickly if it is incorrect. So giving the power to the people is actually probably a very good move on Twitter's side. And further, again, I think there's going to be a lot of changes in the year 2021 when it comes to the federal or the Senate under the Biden administration. They're going to come down hard on all these social media platforms. So Twitter's attempt to come out with this system to create ability to give people a challenge to comment and share those comments. I think this is a smart move on Twitter's part.
Okay, but is it again good enough, do you think? When we think about the impact that misinformation is can have on us as a society, I mean,
comments
do we need to do more? Do we need to do better, do you think, here, other than just kind of rely on...
Là, à l'ère numérique, entre guillemets, mais ce fond épisode produit par la radio qui s'appelle CKAU, c'est à Ouachat, sur la Côte-Nord. C'est une bonne.
The fan, here's Alex Sixero. Alex, Steve.
What just happened there?
Evening, Kurt Schilling is trending around the necessary 75%, but it looks like he will come up a bit short. Meanwhile, it's a big day tomorrow. We'll introduce George Springer at 11.
Fuck off. Jesus Christ. It's the big day tomorrow, and it's nothing to do with anything real.
Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. I just wanna party like I won the lottery. I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Where you at? Hit me up for the money, where the stacks. Get this paper, get this cash. No, we here with my niggas in the trash. Put it in, flip it quick, get it back. Add me up with my niggas in the room, cleaning up, sweeping up with a broom. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Double cup, double cup, double cup. So I got a couple drinks today. Didn't think I'd make it, but I made it back today. Cashing out in the bank every day. Put in work, put in work, get paid. What my niggas say, fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. I just wanna party like I won the lottery. I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party like I won the lottery. Just got off the plane, juice all in my veins, 6 bucks in my name, no one on these flames. Fucking Friday night, I ain't playing no games. I'm that West End chick that was raised in the lane. Yeah, you won't believe, pay up, just raise the speed. They calling, but they can't get a hold of me. The beats on Friday, BET, raise a bar for the scene. If the work ain't clean, don't come for me. They show me.
Why are you people talking?
I'ma ride this way, put the water right now. I'ma spark this.
By the way, again, this is just something that is in the testing stages right now. We're trying this out in...
Some have been posting online questioning the way Yassine Dabe passed away. His father says it was from COVID-19.
So he is confirming that Yassine passed away from COVID-19. The result of his death was COVID-19 related.
And he says any rumors or postings that he died from anything but COVID-19 are absurd. Reporting live, I'm Omen Qureshi.
You're listening to 680 News, and coming up in just 60 seconds, Carrie Prunskis with a look at the rough roads this afternoon, and we'll check your
What about the guy you killed at Norway
220.
last
When
year?
business joined forces with 680 News, not only does it get their company's message out
140
there,
rounds,
it's also
one
the
guy
start
got
of a
it, the
beautiful
Uber driver,
relationship.
Who knows where this is all gonna go?
Tell us something useful.
Care to. There's Adam Oldfield, our tech expert. When we come back after the break, why some companies are deciding to take a pass on this year's Super Bowl when it comes to those big Super Bowl ads. That story next.
Basic.
pourquoi s'intéresser aux insectes? Ce sont, comment dire, un son vraiment très important dans les écosystèmes. Donc, c'est quand même la base de plusieurs écosystèmes. Ensuite, moi, je les trouve particulièrement fascinants pour leur diversité, leur comportement, leur forme, leur couleur. Vraiment, c'est un groupe très, très riche. Il y a tellement de possibilités pour les étudier ou pour les transposer dans des univers de science-fiction.
Oui. C'est ce que vous faites d'ailleurs. Vous êtes gestionnaire des médias sociaux parmi vos occupations pour le projet Bug Dex du Musée d'histoire naturelle de Copenhague. Comme je le dis, vous avez une vie très intrigante. Et vous écrivez des romans de science-fiction. Vous venez d'y faire allusion. D'abord, Mémorique et
No, see, it's funny because normally that would never be allowed.
Now, it is an absolutely
But I wouldn't care
terrible
if they
drive
did it.
out there, no matter
It's
where you are
loud.
across
It's
the
pissing me
GTA.
off
You have
because
to
all
have
you're
your
doing is
full
telling
lighting
people, listen,
system
man,
on.
you sickle.
If you are making any
goddamn thing.
essential trips, that's the only reason you should be out there
Central
right now, because it is
Hospital
just horrible. So wait for another day if you're considering going out there. And we still have this full closure on the QEW in Burlington. It's shut down in both directions between the 403 and Guelph line. It's for an ongoing collision investigation, so heavy delays in both directions. Westbound traffic is slow from just west of Appleby. Toronto-bound delays start around North Shore. Now, we just had a collision clear westbound QEW in Mississauga, well, just on the border of Mississauga and Oakville at Winston Churchill. So traffic is still heavy westbound QEW as you approach Erin Mills towards Winston Churchill. Westbound 401, a problem approaching Morningside in the Express recently cleared. Busy drive, though, westbound on the 401 from about Port Union over to Morningside Express and Collectors. And we've had snowplows making their way across the 401 as well, and other routes across the GTA. So just be mindful of those snowplows. Make sure that you're giving them their space to do their work. Westbound 401 at Leslie in the Express, the right lane blocked with a stalled vehicle. Just a minor delay there. And a ramp closure, the westbound 401 ramp to the 410. That is shut down because of a collision. Delays are minor, but you got to keep that in mind. You can't get onto the 410 right now from the westbound 401. Eastbound on the 401, at the moment, it's a problem-free drive in terms of collisions. We've had plenty, but it is a busy drive eastbound 401 from Mississauga Road over to Huron, Ontario. A little bit heavier in the express lanes through that stretch. Not too bad, though, making your way across the city. On city streets, traffic lights reportedly out along Danforth between Midland and Eglinton, so treat those intersections as always stops. If you've suffered a serious injury, your recovery starts at lamontlaw.ca. Lamont Law, resolving personal injury cases for over 40 years. Now with the forecast, Denise Andriati. Well, we still have winter weather travel advisories in effect, and I want to thank everyone for sharing photos and videos with us on Twitter. You can tweet us at 680 News Weather. It looks a little like a winter wonderland, but when you look at the roads, you can still see that slushy conditions in some areas. We did have some freezing drizzle a little earlier, and the plows are hard at work, definitely getting the roads cleared, but you still want to stay off them if you can. It's still very slick, and that wind is blowing and drifting the snow around. We also have some precipitation still expected this evening, and then temperatures really cooling down for the rest of the week after this system departs Ontario completely. Your overnight low tonight near -7.
All these things are making decisions. Don't do.
Your head says,
And we're the stupid one. I don't think so.
but your heart says, invest in that new sound system right now.
That's a good idea.
We can help you balance both.
I didn't do
You
that.
can live for today.
Oh, shit. I'm not ready. Like this one. Back off away from the mic, eh? At the very least. Little braces.
Back with this motherfucking track, y'all. Money is gas, taking the dash, feel like a blast with that on my cash, taking it slow, I'm taking it fast, face on the dash, whipping that ass, fuck with the cats, I don't fuck with the rat, throwing it bad while she busting it back, talking that shit, better watch how you at, doing the game and the place in the set, I know I'm ruby like the missing link, chasing. You see me on stage and I'm glowing. You not believe where I'm going. I'm fucking with the speed I'm stroking. Son and rappers coaching. Don't fuck with my vibe when I'm smoking. Judging all these rappers by the clothing. Need a role model and a Trojan. Provoking while I'm promoting emotion. Demons in my head, keep erasing it. Smoke the pain away, I can't erase it down.
Job cuts were apparently announced to employees today. You see, Synovus acquired Husky back in October, and Synovus spokesperson said at the time, 20 to 25% of the combined workforce would face job cuts. We are now hearing 1,700 to 2,200 jobs will be gone by March because of redundancies, and some of those cuts happened today. Now, we don't have specifics on this, but right now, shares in Synovus down by 4.6%. So that stock is a weight on Main Street. The TSX lower by 111, 17,794. Although oil is also lower, it's down by 12 cents, 52.65. The Canadian dollar higher by 28,100, 78.75 US, and then gold is down $5, 18.54. On Wall Street, we did see a report for the S&P, and right now it's up by 3. The Dow is up by 6, and the Nasdaq up by 11. That pretty much tells you all you need to know about today. We have seen a fair bit of fluctuation, very modest moves ahead of some big earnings later this week, including Apple and Facebook. But as well, we've got the U.S. Federal Reserve tomorrow. But at the same time, it sort of makes you wonder if maybe the good times could be coming to an end. Is a correction on the way? Sean Coakley is a market strategist at Cambridge Global Payments.
This type of time period, January, February, is kind of, from a seasonal perspective, presents like a time of vulnerability for a correction to take place in the S&P 500.
Did you write that?
We don't really know what to catalyze that, right? There is like narratives about like the coronavirus being an extended problem that'll drag on economic growth for a long time. But really what drives correction in equity markets is changes in sentiment. And right now, I don't really see any potential catalyst that I'm aware of.
Now, shares in Johnson & Johnson hit an all-time high on Wall Street today, 173.65. Right now, that stock up by about 3%. The pharmaceutical company issued a stronger than expected earnings forecast for the year, and it doesn't include the COVID-19 vaccine, so that would essentially be gravy for this company. That shot, by the way, could be cleared for use in the U.S. by March. We are expecting to get some new data as soon as
You know what? That's what it reminds me. My dog would make that noise when he wanted what I was
expected fourth quarter earnings today. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
The other way.
You might not know what the future holds, but at Seneca, we know what it needs.
You know what I'm reading? You would make that sniffle.
Satisfied waiting for change.
Is this Seneca?
The fixer, the helper, the problem solver.
The junkie, the dope man, the stick-up kid, and
you who waits for no one. You who wants
car tractor. Oh, don't forget the hooker. Right.
Seneca shall accept it.
We're training you for jobs that don't exist yet. Seneca, we're training you for that was a year ago, not within the last year. We're training you for jobs that don't even exist yet. That's what these people fucking said to us. I'm gonna catch the snowplow. I can hear that shit. Damn, it's big. I can hear it from here. You got about 2 lanes worth of snowplow on one truck, dog. Yeah, just step on it, he'll move. I don't know what they do to the engines of those trucks, but they sound exceptionally loud. Oh, did I let it run all the way to the... You're not going to tell us shit.
Great afternoon, and be safe. It's 2:30.
Fuck you fucking...
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, January 26th. Thanks, Jana.
I already know what they're going to talk about that I want to hear. The only thing is the, well, now I want to hear about these autistic kids. But the kid that died, well, I didn't hear, if I heard them say so, maybe on the next last / whatever video, there might be, they might have, oh, no, I don't think so. Because I didn't, it was on fucking CRI. They started playing tracks from the Western world. Thanks.
You roll it up, you
That's
better
what I
lace it down.
tune into
Yeah,
Asia
ups and
for,
downs,
is to
and
hear
I chase
music
it down.
from
Pussy chasing
the
me, I do not
States.
chase it down. Catch me online, got the playlist on the ride, I got that spacious.
Up here in Canada. The Chinese don't get it. We're not, Canadians aren't big on Britney. They sort of get it.
Back with this
They
motherfucking
have a
track,
slightly
yo.
different relationship with that country. They tried that, paying taxes themselves and doing shit with us.
Money is gas, making the dash. Feel like a blast with that on my cash. Taking it slow, I'm taking it fast. Face on the dash, whipping that ass. Fuck with the cats, I don't fuck with them rats. Throwing it bad while she busting it back. Talking that shit, better watch how you act. Doing the game and I'm chasing the sack. I know I'm real bit like the missing link. All my bitches small with a lot of ink. All I really know is I want more bling. Money calling me, I keep on chasing. You see me on stage and I'm glowing. Do not believe where I'm going. I'm fucking with the speed I'm stroking. Son and rappers coaching. Don't fuck with my vibe when I'm smoking. Judging all these rappers by the clothing. Need a role model and a Trojan. Provoking while I'm promoting emotion. Demons in my head, keep on facing them. Smoke the pain away, I can't erase it down. If you roll it up, you better lace it down. Oh yeah, uppers and them downers and I chase it down. Pussy chasing me, I do not chase it down. Catch me online, got the playlist on the ride. I got that spacious, I stay lift up the police and the racists. Ride for my homies and I'll never turn, baby. Cremated when I die in the diamond urn, baby. I love some thick thighs, yeah, I never learned, baby. The devil in disguise, but my friends call me Hades. Living up like I'm lucid in the woods with these druids, chilling with the humans, getting stupid off these fluids. Rooted in the music, the money is elusive. You say you taking shots, my homies really shooting. Rather different. Yeah, I hope you hear the difference. This is not a coincidence, legitimate and present, man. Your lyrics sounding belligerent, I'm feeling that deliverance. I'm tired of being considerate. Your music is sounding like some gibberish. Everyone's hearing me killing this. I'm the rapper and the instrument. I don't know what you talk about. All my homies is innocent. The leader of the syndicate. This music is my stimulant. All my rhymes are written intricate. I'm feeling this. Listen closely when I'm spitting this. People should consider this.
You gotta be shitting me! You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock! You gotta let me fly!
My crimes are heinous. Yo, I killed the beat like I'm a racist. I do it while I'm faded. I'm shameless and I don't need payment. I'm feeling like the greatest. It's time to show my faces. Fear and loathing Las Vegas. Never will they tame us. They hating on this rapper, but they will not claim us. The new school rappers looking brainless. Yo, and all these young kids celebrating, making them contagious. I hit you with the latest. I'm dropping all this hot shit like the runs ever hate us. Calling all creators, surrounded by the famous. Big dreams, I'm gonna make it one day. Oh God. 666 up on the dash, and I say, get the cash. That's all she had to say, yeah. Have me up all night, bad ride. Big dreams, I'm gonna make it on God. 666 on the dash, and I say, get the cash. All she had to say.
So that snow, it's sticking around. Reporting live, Irene Kirkland, 680.
It's +1 right now. I'm not sure how the
making their way
fuck
on
that's
various
snow.
routes, but roads are still extremely slippery in some areas. The 680's Mark Douglas is near the QEW in Burlington and joins us live with what he's seeing. Mark.
Well, Stojana, I can tell you, it's been a non-stop afternoon of jackknifed 18-wheelers and vehicles into ditches. Callers to our traffic center telling us about some really terrible driving conditions, especially from the north side of the GTA.
For the north end of 404 between Davis and Green Lane, near whiteout conditions, so pretty bad.
And this caller is sending us a heads up from the QEW and 403 area.
3 different accidents, each one of them with transport trucks involved. 2 are service highways,
Earlier on the 401 through the Guelph area, I saw 3 or 4 serious crashes on the westbound side just between Guelph Line and Highway 6 alone. That's really only about 10 kilometers or so. The traffic backlog was so jammed up at one spot, fire trucks could not even get by. Reporting live in Burlington, I'm Mark Douglas.
As you were hearing, traffic part of the QEW remains closed in Burlington, where a crash this morning killed 2 women. Victims were heading west when their vehicle crossed over into the eastbound lanes, hitting an oncoming car and pickup truck. The SOPP constable tells 680 News they're still investigating whether one of the victims who was ejected from the vehicle was wearing a seatbelt.
That's not actually indicated that she necessarily had no seatbelt, simply that she was ejected. It could be simply the force of the collision might have actually, despite even having had a seatbelt,
how small is this
could have
person?
actually ejected her from the
How
vehicle.
old is this truck? How fast were you? What are you talking about when you hit them?
The QEW remains closed in both directions from 403 to Guelph Line in Burlington.
This is 680 News. The province's new cases of COVID-19 continue to trend downwards, with Ontario today reporting 1,740 new cases. 3 of the hotspots in the GTA, Toronto, Peel, and York regions continue to see cases dropping. The province is also reporting an additional 63 deaths linked to the virus. There's also been a decline in testing, with just under 31,000 dispatched. The province has a testing capacity of more than 70,000 a day.
The Premier was at the airport today urging the federal government to make COVID testing mandatory for every single international traveler who arrives in Canada. 680's Phil Martino is working that story. Joins us live with the latest.
And then you figured, oh yeah, the documentation side of it.
We will check back with Phil momentarily.
Prime Minister Trudeau teasing new COVID travel restrictions for Canada and says he's been assured Canada's vaccine supplies are safe from growing export threats out of Europe.
If you've made travel plans abroad or even to other provinces, despite the public health advice, you may want to cancel them. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says new restrictions are coming soon.
We will not hesitate to take even tougher measures if and when they're needed. We'll be making an announcement in the coming days.
The government's making sure any new measures don't interrupt trade and supply chains, but we didn't get any other specifics. Meanwhile, the European Union has been threatening export limits on vaccines produced there, which could have an impact on Canada's Moderna and Pfizer deliveries. However, the Prime Minister says he's spoken with the CEOs of both companies and received commitments our contracts will be honored.
We are very much still on track to receiving all the promised doses by the end of March.
And people have an emergency debate on vaccines later today. Cormac makes we need Parliament Hill.
Calgary companies launched human clinical trials of a potential made-in-Canada COVID drug.
And they said they don't have enough
already administered the first 5 doses of their potential vaccine this morning. The company says 60 people in Toronto will be monitored for 13 months, with the initial results expected next month. If the trials are successful, a larger phase 2 test could follow in May, and if that is successful, the vaccine could be released by the end of the year. Brad Sorensen is the CEO of Providence Therapeutics, and he says he's aware that the federal government wants all Canadians to be inoculated by September.
There's billions of people in the world, and we know there'll be folks out there that will need them. And so we're prepared to prioritize Canadians, and if Canadians don't need them, we'll sell them and export them to countries that do need them.
Sorensen also says if the Providence vaccine is ready in time, it could make a huge difference in protecting Canadians from any new COVID.
Realize you could have started this project a year ago.
Gas prices are next.
This is here. Local. What the fuck?
Back in my day, we walked in the snow uphill both ways. Nowadays, you kids whip around in your Jeeps with your 4x4 capability and your I can go anywhere attitudes.
What's your point, Grandpa?
It's not us.
Well,
it's
you're going to show me what this thing can do.
What's John say? It's not us. It's not you.
Right now,
What's Justin say? We did what we said we would do. You think about what John said, what we did.
These things really can go anywhere.
Well, we're going to have a committee, and you're going to have to report to this committee about the Lee charity scandal. Okay, they throw a rogue parliament, they come back, okay, what is your report? Well, we throw a rogue parliament, the committee got dissolved. Everybody goes, what?
Harmless. But these are the types of things
This is
contributing
what
to a
fucking
significant
happened.
spike
That
in
was last year.
COVID-19 cases in Ontario. Community spread is making more
We're
and
all
more
supposed to
people
be so
sick,
stupid
threatening
not
to
to know.
overwhelm the
That's why they use
hospitals
all
and
these
putting
words.
all of us at
Pro-road.
risk.
What's that mean?
Vaccines will help protect us, but until they're
What do
widely
they call it in the U.S. Government shutdown. What do we see up here? They close roads, farmers. You got Latin, English, French, in 2 words.
By the government of Ontario.
It's just common sense. A flexi line by Capital Direct allows you to manage your funds more effectively and gives you that financial peace of mind.
The only reason I figured any of this shit out because they tried to fuck me over with language, but switched me to English.
Taking care of tuition. It's the smart move that allows you to take only what you need when you want it. Whether you could use $50,000 or $1.5 million, that cash is available to you. Call Capital Direct
I got a
today
duffel
at
bag. You got actually
1-800-NEW
gonna need 2
Capital.
duffel bags. Let's just fill up the food delivery bag to the school.
680 News Time, 241.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Pritzkis. This report is brought to you by Canadian Blood Services. We have an absolutely horrible drive out there. Ongoing problems on the westbound 403, just past the 407. The 2 left lanes are blocked. A jackknife tractor trailer looks like it's lost part of its front end, and a heavy backup westbound on the 403 as you approach the 407 to just past it as you're coming up to Burnhamthorpe. And again, it's just that right lane getting around that problem. We have a full closure of the QEW. It's shut down in both directions in Burlington between the 403 and Guelph line. That's for another collision investigation. So heavy traffic westbound QEW from Appleby to Guelph line. Northbound delays start around North Shore. And a couple of ramp closures as well, unrelated to that. More collisions. The northbound Ford Drive ramp to the westbound QEW is closed. And then no access to the eastbound QEW from southbound 3rd line. Those ramps are both closed because of other collisions. I had a call from a traffic spotter on the northbound 404 approaching Woodbine. We have a multi-vehicle pile up there blocking all lanes of the northbound 404 approaching Woodbine, so keep that in mind as well. Westbound on the 401, west of the 404 in the collectors, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. It's busy from the 404 in the collectors. And we had a problem reported as well, westbound 401 west of Leslie in the Express, the right lane blocked with a stalled vehicle, minor delay there. Still have this ramp closure, the westbound 401 ramp to the 410. That is off limits because of another collision. On city streets, Dufferin is closed in both directions north of Rogers Road at Eversfield, and that is due to the unsafe road conditions in that area. We also have reports that the traffic lights are out along the Danforth from Midland to Eglinton, so use extra caution there as well. A message from Canadian Blood Services. Join the fight against COVID-19 by donating plasma. If you've tested positive for the virus and recently recovered, register now at blood.ca/health. And now with the forecast, here is Denise Andriachi.
Well, the winds have been quite strong downtown all day, so it's still picking up that snow, even though we're seeing the lighter bands of snow now with this system moving through. It's still looking a little difficult, and poor visibility definitely in some spots as we move through the rest of today. Into the evening, things are just going to continue to ease in terms of winds and precipitation. We'll still likely be seeing some active weather, but it's breaking up as we move closer to the evening hours. Some freezing drizzle could move back into the forecast as well. These winds gusting at Pearson right now, quite strong as well. Like I said, it's really downtown that we're seeing these stronger wind gusts.
You've got your eyes open, lights on.
Here in the city of Toronto, and they haven't budged on those snowfall
leave the
warnings
damn
yet.
coffee table there, don't you?
So we'll wait for that. Right now, light snow at Pearson. The overnight low tonight, you're -7. Now the dynamic funds market minutes for business center. Here's Richard Southern.
All right, so Janet, good afternoon. It's the talk of the investment community for sure. GameStop is unbelievable story, and there's a couple of stocks caught up in this. The chat rooms banding together to buy it, to squeeze out the shorts. Here's GameStop right now on 68%, $129.58 US. BlackBerry to some extent involved in this. The shares in BB up 15 cents on Wall Street, or on Bay Street, excuse me, $23.11. TSX is lower. It's down 106 points to 17,799. The Dow's higher, but just by 30, still below 31K. S&P's up a point. The Nasdaq up 14. Canadian dollar 78.74 cents US. This is 680 News.
680 News Traffic Alert.
This is Carrie Pritzkis from the 680 News Traffic Center. Westbound QEW, all lanes just reopened at Guelph line. Traffic is still jammed, though, from Appleby, and all Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW are still closed from the 403 to Guelph line because of a collision. The 680 Traffic Watch continues.
We're all rethinking risk these days. Your investments should be no exception. A financial advisor can help you build a resilient portfolio.
You couldn't have spent 20 more seconds telling us more about what you got.
Suffer from CRA male anxiety? Does the sight of a brown envelope make you sweat? Are the envelopes piling up? Don't know where to start? We do.
Oui, c'est un dialogue, en fait, perpétuel entre la nature, la matière et l'être humain. Mauricio, Yvon, il disait jusqu'à quel point la pandémie nous a plongé dans une espèce d'accaparement perpétuel intellectuellement. Là. Alors, de quoi on parle trop, Mauricio, à l'heure actuelle, à votre avis?
De quoi on parle de trop, c'est difficile de dire qu'on parle trop de la crise, mais j'ai eu une garantie religieusement au début. Le bilan des morts et tout, et
Lisa Volkswagen. Here is 240. That out with its digital cockpit and the 7-seat Atlas. Offer ends February 1st. Contact
what happens when your fancy computer crashes? Fly boy.
We all share the journeys that we take. So we've made a commitment to do things the right way and give you our very best. Our best fuel, our best snacks, our best services, our best rewards. And
what have you been selling us?
You can be your best. Because better drivers make better journeys, and better journeys make a better world. Learn more at shell.ca/takingcare.
There's trucks of water
You're
separators
hearing and seeing it everywhere. Change, purpose, new directions, journeys beginning, courage found, confidence taken. You feel it, that rally cry to stay curious, to keep exploring, to invest in yourself. Now is the time. At the University of Toronto School of Continuing Studies, with over 800 courses and more than 540 online learning options, taught by today's industry-leading professionals. Your future self awaits. Learn more at learn.utoronto.ca.
If I told you there are as many as 2,000 homeless youth in our city each night, would you care? What?
The free lineup changes.
Oh, right. I was looking for traffic, and they're not doing traffic. That's interesting. That's how I got tricked into hearing all that. The City of Toronto advertises every so often just to let us know they're still there. This traffic report brought to you by the City of Toronto. Thanks. You could have spent that money on, I don't know, sweeping the street or something. Think about it. I'm sitting here after cleaning the storm drains here in the city. Tell me on the radio. So the radio people are getting paid for this to tell me that the City of Toronto is still here. But I didn't see them all day.
Big day tomorrow. The Blue Jays will...
Oh, they okay. Send me the money. Do something with the money. They start a breakfast program. Okay. While the schools are all shut down. That's helpful. So whenever this is over, we'll have a school breakfast program. Yeah, and they're only doing it because they know we're going to. So we're going to feed them one way or another.
Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590. COVID-19 has come at a cost for many small businesses, but financial support is available from the Government of Ontario. From grants of up to $20,000 for eligible small businesses, to support for purchasing PPE, to rebates for property tax and energy costs. We are working to ensure our small businesses can keep employing people and serving our communities now and when COVID-19 is behind us. Visit ontario.ca/COVID support to apply. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Can you feel it? It's different than before. We are stronger.
And that money's awful. So the city is spending cash because they're not allowed to borrow money.
This is our
Province,
team.
it's all borrowed money.
The human team. We all live here. So buy the toque, buy the mask, and change a life. Rise up and join the fight against homelessness. Show your support at raisingtheroof.org because this is our house. And we're raising the roof.
It's the normal annual fee every month.
News. Premier Ford made a stop at Pearson Airport this afternoon, urging the federal government to make COVID-19 testing mandatory for every international traveler arriving in Canada. 6 News' Phil Martino joins us live now with those details. Phil.
So, Jenna, Step Board is calling on the federal government to adopt mandatory testing upon arrival for all international travelers and to impose a temporary ban on flights coming from countries where new COVID-19 strains are being detected.
This is simple, folks. No politics, no nothing. You land in Toronto or other areas, and as far as I'm concerned, they have to be tested. Simple as that. We aren't the first country to require
this. Just going to Ontario, Toronto. That's what he did. He meant to say Ontario.
International travelers have been tested for COVID-19 as part
no,
of the
he's thinking like we do. He's from
border testing pilot program at Pearson. It started January 6th. The government says 2.2% tested positive. Now, Ontario is also calling on the federal government to strengthen enforcement of quarantine measures such as isolation hotels to ensure compliance with the 14-day minimum quarantine requirement for incoming travelers. According to the Prime Minister, new restrictions to travel are coming. Phil Martino, 680 News. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the line.
Return to the scene of the crime. I've got somewhere else you gotta be.
Are they?
On City TV. Let's go! The best team in law enforcement. Stop playing!
Hey, what happened to football? Hey, Canada.
See what you can turn off.
Over. Never again, eh? Is NASCAR like goes permanent?
Both other issues. Hudson and Rex.
Tuesdays
8/7 Central on City TV. Or stream live and free at citytv.com. Facebook partner.
I can't even get stopped.
So,
It's the
how's your
same
blood
shit.
pressure?
This is
Pretty good.
fast.
What if I said fix their variable? 3 years or 5, 10, 25%, or maybe no down payment at all? Self-employed, bad credit, lots of consumer debt? So how's your pressure now? Yeah, pretty much what I thought. You want to make the most important financial decision of your life, and we want to help you make it, no matter what your finances are like. Northwood Mortgage, 416-969-8130, or visit us
Set up
online
both
at
of them fucking mobile
northwoodmortgage.com.
health units at Lambert Stadium. My dumbass wasn't asked about this for 2 days
Traffic and
ago.
weather together on the line. Here's Carrie Brunskis. Stay off the roads if you don't have to be anywhere. It's an absolutely horrible drive. We have problems everywhere. Westbound
Well, the
403
drive
past the
be easy, but people are
407. The two
stupid.
left lanes remain closed because of a crash. This tractor trailer was
SUVs are evil.
and now emergency crews are in the process of dismantling it and getting it hooked up to 2 separate heavy tows. So westbound 403 is jammed from Winston Churchill to just past the 407. Only the right lane is getting through. And we have a new problem now on the eastbound 403 approaching Dundas. 2 left lanes are now blocked with the crash. Traffic is backed up from the QEW. If you missed it in our traffic alert, westbound
Did you
QEW
think they could tow the truck and the truck would still have the trailer hooked to it?
We're still seeing heavy delays though from Walker's Line through to about Brant, and the Toronto-bound QEW is still closed from the 403 to Guelph line for this collision investigation. So a slow go on the Toronto-bound side of the QEW from about North Shore to Brant. Towards Brant, I should say. And also we have some ramp closures. The southbound third line ramp to the eastbound QEW, that's closed because of a collision. No access to the westbound QEW from northbound 405, that ramp closed because of a separate issue. And westbound 401, the ramp to the 410 northbound, that is closed because of yet another collision. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, be careful, the ramp to the Baby Bloor, that's partially blocked with a stalled vehicle. Delays on the northbound DVP, anywhere from about Baby Bloor up to the 401. And last I heard from traffic spotters on the northbound 404, approaching Woodbine, we had all lanes blocked because of a multi-vehicle collision there. On city streets, Dufferin is closed in both directions north of Rogers Road because the road conditions are so poor. Your next report is at 3:01. Now with the forecast to East Andriachi.
Still seeing some light snow, and that wind is quite gusty, picking that snow around and blowing and drifting. So visibility is still poor across the GTA. We still have winter weather travel advisories in effect. Things are easing, just the heaviest snow bands have definitely moved on, and we'll just continue to see things sort of ease up as we move through the evening hours. Behind this system, very clear filter and sink south into southern Ontario, so you can expect below seasonal conditions Thursday through to Saturday. We could see daytime highs Friday, dip as low as near -10. That's a daytime high, so we can only imagine what the lows may be like. And as well, when you factor in the wind chill, it's going to be quite a chilly couple of days and a cold finish to the month of January. It's -2 right now at Pearson with the light snow. Your overnight low is near -7.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Lean Hair Refrigeration. Save $3,300 on the Lean Hair side-by-side, fully integrated top-of-the-line refrigerator, freezer, and wine storage bundle. Visit your premium appliance retailer or ELA.ca.
Does inline fiberglass do window replacements? Of course we
the
do.
garbage
Hi,
and litter
I'm
you
Tom
find out
O'Keefe,
here is
Inline
different.
Fiberglass. A lot of people ask me whether or not Inline does window replacements. We have
That's
been replacing
the YouTube logo.
vinyl,
You know
wood,
that
and aluminum
triangle.
windows for over 30 years. No job is too big or too small. So let us beautify your home and improve your home energy efficiency.
If your windows are leaky, call Tom Rokiki. For more information, visit us at our factory direct showroom or at inlinefiberglass.com. 680 News. Listen on the go with the Radio Player Canada app.
Download now on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather.
No matter where you are.
With the
Hey,
Radio
so I don't know
Player
where the fuck the
Canada
case
app.
is. It's probably got both tabs broken
We're now
and
hearing
half the
from the family of a
paper.
19-year-old Syrian refugee who died after contracting COVID-19 while working in a
Now he's a
long-term care
refugee.
home.
Fuck
Yassine
off.
Dabe came to Canada in 2016 as a refugee from Syria. One of 9 siblings, the 19-year-old worked as a contract cleaner at Middlesex
Yeah,
Terrace
which
long-term
means
care
otherwise he
home.
would have needed a
Speaking
work
to a
visa. So shut
translator,
the
his
fuck
father
up and go
Ahmed says
refugee.
he
No,
wants to
that's
remember
not
as a
they
good
always got to
person.
paint people a certain way.
Ever since he was a child, he had a wonderful personality, very loving, kind, compassionate.
Some are posting
Monkey
online saying
Cat,
Dabe
Goodbye
committed
Yellow Brick
suicide,
Road,
but his father calls
Saturday
those
nights, all
allegations
right for
absurd.
fighting. Thank
Saying he
you,
is proof
John.
his son passed
Elton,
away from
whatever. If you were
COVID-19.
Chinese,
Shocked that
it'd be
they would have the
reversed.
audacity to make up such rumors. When they were not present during the time of death,
ALRIGHT,
they were not there
one
for his struggles while he was feeling all the pain and all the symptoms that comes along with COVID-19.
Dabe says he does not hold a long-term care home or the hospital responsible for his son's death, saying they did the best they could. I'm Omen Qureshi.
Business is next.
Tonight on CBC.
Ooh, something special?
The moment you've been waiting for. Welcome back.
Crocodile Ross.
Are back, and we got front row seats. For real?
Hey, it's sitting on top of the stereo that looks like it was played.
There's lots in
The
store.
one that works my well, this is busted.
It's only good to talk about. What do you talk about?
Kids Convenience. New episode. Tonight at 8 on CBC and
We
CBC
used to
Channel.
just go to the store. Now we watch the store on TV.
And Toyota.
But it's not even a
Safety
real
always
store.
included. That's why our vehicles come with Toyota Safety Sense. It's a suite of intelligent safety features that other car companies charge extra for. Why would safety be
Shit all they
extra?
want.
That's like
Well,
buying a
I
TV.
I started off living in a storefront.
It's time to Toyota.
And basically halfway,
Corolla
like
LE
the
for as
middle
low
of the
as
block.
$60 weekly at 1.69% APR
There's
for
a gas
60 months
station on
with
one
$0
corner.
down. Ask your local Ontario Toyota dealer about contactless shopping or to book an
A
appointment today.
printing place, a public like that.
Now the 680 News business report. Here's Richard Silver.
Slajana, like a rocket ship.
On that store.
GameStop
There's a half block to
continues
the
to defy
convenience
belief,
store. We don't have
surging
liquor store.
again.
We have the liquor
Just
store
crossing the
in Ontario. It's a
tape here
different
of the
thing
business center. It
altogether.
looks like we just had a Hulk come in. GME just been halted. It's up 60%, $123.96 US. It's after surging 144% yesterday. It's up well more than 300% on the year as individual investors pile in, prompting short sellers to scramble to cover their losing bets. Remember, this is a company that makes no money. This is not a fundamental story. This is a mania story. Again, we've just had a halt come in on GameStop as it's risen more than 60%. What do you make
That
of this?
company
Greg
doesn't
Taylor,
make
Chief
money. Did you just say that? Because in the
Advisory
U.S. they
Group
can sue you for saying that,
Well,
bro.
I think the biggest thing with GameStop and just the whole target on the shorts is that you've got companies that it hasn't really been good businesses for a while, but their stocks really divorced from fundamentals and are going straight up. And it's really because of chat rooms that are putting all their money behind buying calls and options on this. And it's really exacerbated the move, and it's causing a lot of pain on Wall Street with various hedge funds that have been short this being forced to cover and different trading desks being forced to buy stock to offset some of the risk.
And
So
no one's a pay for
really
that.
better
All the
off
people who
it's turned
invested
the
their
table on
pension
these
funds
short
in that.
sellers, which has usually been
In the end, you're not
the people that everyone hates on Wall Street.
GME here again trading at $132 US now. The same trade that has contributed to a short squeeze in GameStop also affecting a host of other heavily shorted companies like AMC, the near bankrupt movie theater chain in the United States. Shares in AMC up another 6 1/3% after a big rally yesterday. Canada's BlackBerry caught up in this. We're looking at a modest move higher for BlackBerry, up 1/3%, $22.96. That particular equity, though, up 60% over the past couple of days. TSX is down 98 points, Dow's up 14. This is 680 News.
If your head wants to plan for retirement, but your heart wants to enjoy life now, the Scotia ARIA Retirement Program can help. No matter when.
Oh, damn, you got us. There's a minute left. Damn. That damn truck had 2 snowplows. It had a snowplow on the front and the second one on the side.
might not know what the future holds, but at Seneca,
we're training you for careers that don't exist yet. Thank you. When he stepped on the accelerator, it was like 2 seconds before traffic actually started moving because he has to. Hey, your black police car looks white today, officer. That's funny to me because I'm very childish and you're very racist. The fuck was that? I didn't see what made that noise. Oh dear, I'm gonna miss the temperature.
Up to 110 on Old El Paso taco kits and salsa. Now only $2.87.
Salsa. Downtown Toronto, snow and a wind chill reading of -11. The News Watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News. Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, January 26th. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Slajanna Timinzik. Here are the top stories right now.
Why were you building a building in the wintertime?
The 680 News Extreme Weather Center is open as the GTA gets a winter roll.
Can I come over there and get
we've seen so far this winter.
On the roads, westbound QEW is reopened Guelph line. Eastbound QEW remains closed from the 403 to Guelph line for collision investigation. Heavy delays in both directions.
The first big winter storm of 2021 hit states and highways pretty badly. Callers to our traffic center want everyone to be aware of the terrible conditions.
It is a leg injury for Leafs goaltender Jack Campbell. He is out weeks. Leafs and Flames meet up again tonight at the Saddle Dome. And will the Cooperstown class of 2021 come up empty? Sports at 15.
Beyond Meat teaming up with Pepsi. The TSX drops almost 100. GameStop up another 75%. Business at 26.
What's going to be in this muffin bread?
680 News on 301.
Traffic and weather together, Terry.
We still have a number of problems affecting the drive right now, notably the Toronto-bound QEW closure. All lanes closed eastbound QEW from the 403 to Guelph line in Burlington for a collision investigation. So a heavy backup from just past North Shore onto the Fairview ramp. Also the southbound third line ramp to the eastbound QEW, that remains closed because of a collision. A problem just cleared on the eastbound 403 approaching Dundas, so a bit of improvement in those delays, but we still have this other problem on the westbound 403. Just past the 407, the two left lanes are blocked because of a collision. This is a jackknife tractor trailer as well. Traffic is jammed westbound 403 from Winston Churchill to just past the 407. Westbound QEW, that has reopened at Guelph line. Still a little bit busy, though, in that area. Your next report is at 3:11. Now with the forecast, Natasha, we still have a ways to go.
To the west end of Lake Ontario. We've seen about 7 centimeters so far, another 2 to 5 centimeters to go, but the blowing snow is an issue right through this evening. Overnight tonight, clearing skies down to -7, morning wind chills -14, and it's a dry Wednesday, increasing cloud tomorrow's high -4. Tonight we're down to that low of -7 degrees. It is currently -2, wind chill -9 at Pearson.
680 News time 3:03.
Well, depending on where you are in the GTA, you might feel like you're in a snow globe with some parts still under a snowfall warning. Others like Toronto under a winter weather travel advisory.
680's Irene Brecklett is at the Extreme Weather Center and joins us with the details.
The Extreme Weather Center is brought to you by Subaru, confidence in motion. Winter weather is here with a vengeance after January that's been warmer than normal on many days and not a lot of snow. Gerald Chang is a meteorologist at Environment Canada says expect this to be an all-day event.
Well, the difference is to be expected for the afternoon, evening commute because it will be totally light on the roads. And certainly with some gusty winds as well, the snow can blow and drift. So certainly visibility is going to be a problem if you're driving.
Western parts of the GTA will get the most snow because of an east wind off of Lake Ontario.
This
For that
can't
reason,
be all the
places
news
like
in the world.
Burlington, Oakville, and Mississauga are under a snowfall warning. Other parts of the GTA are under a winter weather travel advisory with up to 10 centimeters. This is shaping up to be the most snow so far this winter. We got 8.6 centimeters on Christmas Day, 9.8 on December 1st. At the Extreme Weather Center, I'm Irene Brecklett.
So it's very slow and dangerous going on the roads, especially outside the city. It's going to get even more challenging after dark. 6 City's Mark Douglas is along the QEW in Burlington and joins us live. Mark.
James, wet snow and slush all over GTA highways for most of the morning and all afternoon so far. I can tell you firsthand, it is just awful out here. Conditions are worse on the outskirts, of course, especially up north of the GTA. And with such terrible driving conditions all around, callers to our traffic center have been sharing a lot of concerns about what should be really basic safety.
Not to try to drive around the snow plows. They're doing their job. Let them do it. Just take your time. I've already seen several cars trying to zoom ahead and get around snowplows. Please don't. It's not safe.
Another caller tells us she sees a lot of vehicles out here without their full headlight system on. She's having difficulty seeing the backs of the cars and the SUVs in front of her. The snow has been so heavy in some areas. Now, that's going to depend on where you are. Another caller sent along some kudos to all the drivers he's seen out here who do have all their headlights and tail lights on. Keep it locked on 680 for traffic and weather updates on the ones as the day and this weather system goes on.
You going to tell us how many people crashed? That's all we're listening for.
Well, part of the QEW in Burlington remains closed following an early morning crash that killed 2 women. The victims in their early 20s were from the Cambridge and Owen Sound area. They were driving west when their vehicle crossed over into the eastbound lanes of the highway, hitting an oncoming car and a pickup truck. The Sophie B constable tells 680 News the force of this head-on collision.
Let's just say, hypothetically, both of them were traveling at normal highway rate of speed, so you got 100 kilometers, maybe 110, if that's if they would be at that lane. But if you got 2 vehicles traveling at those speed, opposite directions, you're talking about a collision at over 200 kilometers an hour. So, I mean, even having gone through the ditch, they could still have been maintaining well highway speeds, and then so making that collision at that speed, you've got an instant recipe for disaster.
Police say the Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW could stay closed until 5 this afternoon.
Now, the latest on the war against the spread. Ontario reporting a bit more than 1,700 new cases of COVID today, but that continues the lower trend. Wow. 677 new infections, a bit more than 300 in Peel, and 144 in York. The health minister says, as of last night, just over 295,000 doses of the vaccine
a lot of people
have been administered in our province.
I suspect there's a lot of sick people at home, so fuck it, I'm going to drive it up.
He's calling on Ottawa to adopt mandatory testing at airports for all incoming international travelers. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with that. Phil.
So, Jenna, Doug Ford says it's simple. You land in Toronto or other areas, you have to be tested.
So, I can't figure out for the life of me why we are testing every single person that comes through this airport and driving private Ottawa as well.
Owns their planes and they just park them all.
As well. We have to lock down.
The Premier also wants the federal government to temporarily ban direct flights from countries where the new variants are being detected. A voluntary screening program at Pearson that began January 6th has tested over 6,800 travelers. According to the province, 2.2% have tested positive for COVID-19. The Prime Minister says new restrictions on travel are coming.
How the fuck are they getting? I thought they had to have
And with more on that, here's our Parliament Hill reporter, Cormac McSweeney.
As the country continues to try and contain the virus, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his government won't hesitate to tighten our borders, and an announcement will be made in the coming days.
How about airplanes, stupid?
Protecting you and your family. Nothing is off the table. We wouldn't talk specifics, but it's possible these measures could impact international travel and between provinces. The Prime Minister notes his government is working out details to make sure any new measures do not impact trade in our supply chains. Meanwhile, there are growing fears about Canada's vaccine supplies as the European Union talks about export restrictions that could impact both our approved vaccines, but Trudeau says he's confident Canada will get what we purchased from Pfizer and Moderna.
Continuing to be on track for receiving our full doses of vaccines in the timelines provided.
MPs are preparing for an emergency debate on vaccines tonight in the House of Commons. Cormac McSweeney,
I already got this feeling I could throw this back in some water, mix it up, and cook it a second time. This is very processed.
A no-brainer is a decision with one correct answer. Question: is it worth investing in a home office? Let's rephrase that. Do you want a raise? Look at all the money you're saving doing the same job from home. No commute, no lunches, no daycare, the tax benefits. Take the money. ATM can turn your basement into a home office in 3 weeks. ATMRenovations.com. Call now and get $5,000 off your new basement.
Now, 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will rise a cent at midnight.
You deserve the best. Find it at Coventry North Jaguar Land Rover. We've been servicing Jaguar and Land Rovers for over 30 years.
There's some
when your
shitty
vehicle
made
needs
cars
parts
up
and
there.
service, there is no substitute for experience. Let our staff's over 300 years of combined technical expertise give you the peace
Fix
of
the
mind
cars
you
for 300
want
years.
and need. Coventry
That don't
North
sound right.
Jaguar
That
Land
don't
Rover, the
process
Greater Toronto
properly.
area's most accessible Jaguar Land Rover dealership, located conveniently at Highway 400 and 407 in Woodbridge. Mask quality matters. It's a fact. Order your essential pandemic products from Circo.com and make the same choice doctors and hospitals have been making for over 60 years. We stock only premium medical grade products from trusted manufacturers. We have the medical N95 masks, nitrile gloves, and level 3 masks to protect your clinic, staff, and family. Free shipping on orders over $75 within Ontario. Visit Surgo.com today. That's SURGO.com.
680 News Time, 311.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Oh, Carrie.
Oh, James, we just have a brutal drive across the board, so avoid any non-essential travel. There's a good chance that you're going to be involved in a collision or at least stuck in the backup as a result of one. It's just awful. We have this ongoing problem. The westbound 403 just past the 407. The two left lanes remain closed because of a crash. A jackback tractor trailer here as well. So emergency crews are dealing with that. And it's jammed the westbound 403 from Winston Churchill to just past the 407. We have a full closure of the eastbound QEW. All lanes shut down from the 403 to Guelph line in Burlington. This is for a collision investigation. It's been going on since very early this morning. Delays aren't too terrible, though, on the Toronto-bound side of the QEW. It's just heavy as you take the ramp to Fairview as you're forced off the highway. The southbound third line ramp to the eastbound QEW, that's still reported as closed because of a collision. Had a call from a traffic spotter recently on the eastbound 401 approaching Guelph line. The left lane now blocked because of a collision. A couple of spun out vehicles there as well. So expect delays eastbound 401 as you're approaching Guelph line. And a traffic spotter also telling me that southbound on the 404 approaching Stouffville Road, a right lane is blocked with a collision. A snowplow apparently into the guardrail there. So a bit of a delay southbound 404 as you approach Stouffville Road. And last we heard from traffic spotters on the northbound 404 approaching Woodbine, had lanes blocked there because of another collision. Multiple vehicles involved in that crash. Westbound on the 401, west of the 404 in the collectors, the right lane is blocked with a stalled vehicle. And the westbound 401 ramp to the 410, that remains closed because of a collision. Your next traffic report is at 3:21. Now with a look at that snowy forecast, Natasha.
Yeah, so the snowfall warning continues here out through Mississauga, Brampton, Halton, Milton, Burlington, Oakville. So it's out through the west end. However, that wind off the lake, the worst visibility is actually across the south GTA right now, and especially just a report in at DVP and Lakeshore. Really bad visibility. Same for anywhere south of Bloor. You're talking about that blowing snow continuing, and that's going to continue through this evening. Even though we'll pick up just another 2 to 5 centimeters, it's the blowing snow that's the issue. And then overnight we'll find the clear of the skies down to -7. Wind chills in the morning -14. And we'll have a dry Wednesday, a little bit of sun in the morning, increasing cloud in -4. Thursday morning, if you have to head out to work, dress for wind chills of -23, coldest air of the season so far. It'll be partly cloudy, windy, and a high of -7. Tonight down to a low of -7 degrees. Right now it's -2, wind chill -9 at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Good afternoon, Richie.
Hey, James, good afternoon. I'm watching the tick-by-tick moves here on GameStop. GME up another 86% now at the highs of the day.
Look at my face.
Almost $143 US. This name just keeps on flying higher. The TSX is down 91 points, 17,814. A muted performance on the big board. The Dow is up just by 39 points, still below 31K. The S&P is up 3, the Nasdaq's up 19 points. Canadian dollar 78.77 cents US. The headlines and sports are next on 680 News.
That we have a timeshare, we're going to Florida. I said, well, that seems to defy all the received wisdom and what is being peddled right now and promoted by the different levels of government and the health authorities. And he said, the health authorities. I get it. You know, when I claim that this is selfish, what you're really doing here is being selfish when everybody else is being in the board said, we all have to share this together. And so by all means, everybody else is doing their part. So damn well better get tested, you people who are flying. He believes that it's not selfish, but in fact necessary. Necessary. And I said, okay, explain it. And then he went into, and I'm familiar with the argument that this is something that is making people loopy. And he cited his own 2 kids, as well as his spouse, and the cabin fever thing, as well as just not being able to tolerate much more of this. If the vaccine thing had been happening sooner and was expedited more quickly, maybe could wait until April, May, but since he's looking at it down the road and the kids are not even slated for vaccines, so he's saying we're going because our sanity depends on it. In other words, it's necessary to go. Wow. How's that argument? How do you counter that? At that point, I just sat there and wondered him to the authorities. And I said, okay, so you feel that this is necessary. That's a strong word, necessary. What it implies is weighing all factors in the equation, including that this is something that we have to tamp down on. He believes on balance, it's still more important to do what he's planning to do and take the family to Florida for March break. Help me rationalize this one, because you may be in the same set of circumstances and believe that to be the case as well. People are traveling, they still are. And then when the Prime Minister says, quote, only a small proportion of cases originate from Canadians coming home, I guess because he's getting heat for not imposing stricter travel restrictions, even though intimating that's still to come, something out there that might deter people from wanting to travel. But he says right now that's not a real source of the transmission. But hell, with the variants swimming around up there, who knows? Who knows? These are wild cards. But back to my buddy who believes it's necessary. I want to get you to comment on that, because it's one of those things where how can you tell somebody they don't need something? They may want something, and you can deter them from wanting, or at least make a pretty compelling argument against the need.
You ever see a crack?
That's a hard one to counter. They need. He feels that this is detrimental to the whole dynamic within his family. His kids are climbing the walls. They're going loopy. His spouse in the same boat. I guess they all are, and I guess a lot of people are. But to feel that there is a necessity, therefore, to break away from whatever it is that constricts you psychologically. We're all kind of under house arrest, emotionally, mentally, call it what you will. And to offset that, he feels it's necessary. So what he is really doing is in certainly his best interest. And, well, he's going to, and this is where I guess, he's kind of qualified it by saying, listen, we're practicing all of the other health protocols that have been put in place from time immemorial, including we're going to wear masks wherever we go. We're going to be social distancing, the hand washing, and maintaining all of the protocols. Therefore, it's as good as us being here and going out for a walk or anything like that. So where's the harm in all of that? And we could just as easily contract the contagion here. So if we're just, 2,000 miles away, who's to say that's any worse? Let's find out how you feel about it. I mean, I'm really fascinated that this is somehow an argument being presented by, well, in this case, my friend, but other people as well. Do you feel that there's merit to what they have to say?
Are you sports over yet?
Even worth it? At Properly.ca, we're bringing common sense to real estate, helping you buy and move into your new home before you even list the one you're in.
I'm not sure what kind of house I want. I want to buy like 5 or 6 of them.
Properly will prep, list, and show your old one to get you the best price on the market. Your experienced Properly real estate agent will guide you through the process, helping you move on your terms.
There's a smarter way to move, the Properly way. Visit Properly.ca to get started today. The first human trial of a fully made in Canada COVID vaccine is now underway.
Providence Therapeutics, headquartered in Calgary, says it started dosing volunteers in human clinical trials of its COVID-19 vaccine. So this is the first fully made in Canada COVID vaccine to reach this stage of development. Providence CEO Brad Sorensen explains how it happened.
As a messenger RNA company, we make personalized vaccines for cancer patients, and we do it in an incredibly short period of time because cancer patients can't wait. Now, we have a pandemic, and we took that same expertise, that same passionate, talented group, And we took that and we applied it to coronavirus.
And if all goes according to plan, the company should have enough data by April to move into phase 2 in May. At the Business Centre, I'm Chris McCusker.
Father of a London, Ontario teen speaking out after his son dies following contracting COVID while working in a long-term care home.
Yassine Dabe came to Canada in 2016 as a Syrian refugee. The 19-year-old had been working at Middlesex Terrace long-term care home when he became ill, making multiple trips to the hospital, passing away last week. Speaking through a translator, his father Ahmed says his son was a good person.
He was very caring, he was very sweet, and the way he dealt with people in a compassionate manner. He was a very good kid.
Some have posted online that Dabe took his own life, but his father calls that absurd.
He doesn't know how they were able to create such a false rumor when they were not there the time of his death, and they were not there to watch him struggle with COVID-19.
Saying he has test results from doctors that show his son died from COVID-19. I'm Momin Qureshi.
Traffic and weather next.
Virtual by Nespresso. Redefining coffee. Savor a new morning ritual. Innovative technology means preparing your perfect cup of coffee has never been so simple. Allowing you to start your day in the most exceptional way. Virtual. Morning coffee redefined. Nespresso. What else?
Hi, I'm Miranda from Nature's Emporium with our president, Joe D'Addario. Joe, you always say we don't mix our apples.
That's right. We only sell organic produce at Nature's Emporium, offering you the best priced, highest quality, most abundant selection of 100% certified organic fruits and vegetables. Customers can always trust that we don't mix our apples.
100% organic produce at all 4 locations. Visit naturesemporium.com.
6 City use time 321.
Traffic, the weather, together you're earning your money today, Carrie.
Oh, you know it. Yes, we have multiple problems on the major routes right now. This report is brought to you by Friday Harbor. Westbound 403 just past the 407. The 2 left lanes are still blocked because of a collision. A jackknife tractor trailer. It's in the process of being hooked up to 2 separate tows. They had to dismantle it. So westbound 403 is jammed from Winston Churchill to approaching Bernardsthorpe. And we still have a closure of the Toronto-bound QEW. All eastbound lanes remain closed from the 403 to Guelph line. This is for a collision investigation, so slow go as you approach that closure. Eastbound on the Gardner, we just had a collision clear at Park Lawn. So it's busy. Eastbound Gardner from Islington and the Express over to Park Lawn. We've had a few calls from traffic spotters as well about a demonstration underway on the eastbound Gardner heading into downtown. Slow-moving vehicles in the right lane, so that's adding to delays on the eastbound Gardner. I've been watching snowplows on the northbound DVP. They're just heading past Eglinton right now, so the northbound DVP is jammed approaching Bloor up to Eglinton. And looking for an update on problems northbound 404 approaching Woodbine. Last we heard from traffic spotters had many vehicles involved in a crash up at the top end of the northbound 404. So any updates appreciated at star 680. Westbound 401, the ramp to the 410, that remains closed because of a collision. Just a minor delay though. Eastbound on the 401, traffic spotters reporting a crash approaching Guelph line. That's blocking the left lane. So a slow go eastbound 401 from just east of Highway 6 South to approaching Guelph line. And on city streets, Dufferin is closed in both directions north of Rogers Road. It's shut down at Eversfield, and that's because of the unsafe road conditions in that area. And we're just getting word from traffic spotters. Northbound Allen, the ramp to Wilson Heights is blocked with a collision. Get away to Friday Harbor and get back to the things you love. Discover resort living with move-in ready townhomes and condominiums. Friday Harbor, come for the day or a lifetime. Friday, I'm in love. And now with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, Carrie, just a couple more centimeters of snow here to go, but the blowing snow, that's continuing right through tonight because those gusts of 50 to 70 kilometers per hour not starting to ease until after midnight. The heaviest of the snow from the system itself is over towards Belleville eastward. Tonight, with clearing skies, we'll be down to -7, wind chill -14, and a cold week ahead. Tomorrow, increasing cloud and a high of -4. Thursday, partly cloudy and -7, but that morning wind chill -23. And by Friday, with sunshine, we're only getting up to -9, feeling like -16, but Friday morning's wind chill likely the coldest of the week, approaching -25. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -7 degrees. It is currently -2, feels like -9 up here, sir.
Thinking about senior living, but not sure if it's the right move right now?
We understand. At Amica Senior Lifestyles, we recognize the importance of safety and connection. That's why we prioritize the health and well-being of our residents above all else. Here you'll enjoy premium personalized care and lifestyle options, while your comfort and safety always come first. Let's connect. We'd love to get to know you and create an experience tailored to your unique needs. Learn more at amica.ca.
Karen and Moe's Pay Your Bills Contest.
On 98.1 CHFI.
Amanda, regularly?
You get a flat tire, usually it's 2, so you're looking at twice the price.
We're more than happy to hand it off for you.
This is amazing. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that.
3 daily chances to win. Enter your bill at CHFI.com and get ready to market pay as well.
Darren and Moe's Pay Your Bills Contest. Weekdays at 8, 1 and 4 on 98.1 CHFI.
In 60 seconds, the Tuesday markets with Richie, 680 News Top 325.
Mandarin is back with their dumpling festivals to celebrate Chinese New Year in style. We've added festival favorites including siumai, beef pot stickers, and chicken dumplings to our extensive takeout and delivery menu of over 100 dishes. Don't miss Chinese New Year at Mandarin. Takeout and delivery has never been so easy or tasted so good. Ends February 28th while supplies last. A celebration of taste. Mandarin. Phone or order now at mandarinrestaurant.com.
If there's one vehicle made for winter in Canada, it's a Subaru. Whether it's rain, sleet, or snow, symmetrical all-wheel drive works full-time to give you all the traction you need to be safe on the road. And if there's one dealership ready to help you through this winter, it's your local Subaru dealer. By ensuring all safety protocols are in place, we've made shopping for a Subaru as safe as driving one. Book your appointment and bring on winter safely at your nearest Subaru dealer.
680 News Time 326, now 680 Business Reports. What are you seeing today, Richie?
A rocket ship going straight up in GameStop. GameStop up another 93% right now. $148.71 US. This is a name that has just gone bananas with Reddit chat rooms, average retail investors banding together to buy this, triggering a big short cover. The short sellers are not backing down by all accounts. Short sellers reloading their bets over the past 7 days, according to fresh data, where shorted shares now have jumped in GameStop by more than 900,000 over the past week or so. So there we go again. GameStop up 93%, $148 US dollars. The share as we approach the last half an hour of trade here. Another big story on the go we're watching is regarding Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is teaming up with Pepsi. They're going to come out with plant-based snacks and drinks for Pepsi. It's not clear yet what they would look like or how they would be branded. It has triggered a big rally for Beyond stock, which is up 17% right now, above $186. Greg Taylor is with Purpose Investments. He says this deal hits on all the right notes for the growing number of investors who have sustainability at the top of their mind.
Well, it's definitely a theme that everyone wants, and one of the biggest themes in the last few years in investing has been the ESG funds, which are more sustainable and environmentally friendly. Beyond Meat hits a lot of those boxes, and this is a theme that investors really want to get involved in. And there's not that many names that are even participate in purely. And
right now, I
think that's something that people are looking
one day
for.
I will ascend
It's a trend that's going to keep going. The valuation is always questionable, but it's something that people want to invest in, and that can push things higher, as we're saying.
On the main benchmarks right now, we're looking at some strength in New York. The Dow's up 51, 31,011. So there's the Dow reclaiming 31K. S&P's up 4, the Nasdaq's up 16. TSX not playing along. The Main Street benchmark's down 98 points, 17,807. The Canadian dollar right now is trending higher to 78.77 cents US.
It's trending.
What's the latest on the storm? How much snow is to come? What's the situation on the roads? We got all the info. The top stories are next on 680 News.
The question isn't, do you want a new bathroom? The question is, how old is your bathroom? If you mean this on the rest of your home, why not your bathroom? Every 10 years, your bathroom needs maintenance. If your bathroom is 10 years or older, you run 3 huge risks: water damage, airborne mold, and tens of thousands of dollars in water damage repairs to the lower levels of your home. And when you do nothing about it, your home and your health only gets worse, and repair costs get higher.
So do something now. AGMRenovations.com. If your bathroom is over 10 years old, call AGM Renovations now for a free water damage and mold assessment. AGM are Canada's highest-rated renovators, and if you act fast, they could save you thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs.
Wouldn't do
Protect
much
your
for us
home
on
and your health. Don't wait. For your free assessment, go to agmrenovations.com.
Doesn't matter how much or how long it was in your house. If it's raw soup, it's all
Some snowfall warning remains in effect for parts of the GTA. Winter weather travel advisory in effect for the rest of it. In downtown Toronto, we have blowing snow. -3 feels like -9. Full coverage starts now.
For breaking news, traffic, and weather, this is 680 News.
Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, January 26th. I'm Sljana Tominsic.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
Winter weather travel advisory blanket Toronto and much of the Golden Horseshoe. Environment Canada warning of rapidly accumulating snow and sudden whiteouts.
Snowy, slushy, and treacherous highway conditions all around the GTA. Callers to our traffic center sending out warnings to all the other drivers out here.
The Premier wants mandatory testing for all incoming international travelers.
They have to be tested.
He also wants a temporary ban on flights coming from countries where
They're the same fucking stories as the W. You got nothing to do. You're trying to
plans, you're being urged to cancel them. The Prime Minister says new restrictions will be announced in the coming days, and he's confident Canada will get the vaccines we purchased despite threats out of Europe.
Maple Leafs eyeing a 6-2 start when taking on the Calgary Flames tonight, while goaltender Jack Campbell will miss time with an injured leg. Sports 45.
Reddit? Traded.
And that
ambiguity
with
93% TSX in the red, and the new initiative from IKEA in business at 56.
680 News Time, 3:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Franskis.
We still have a very treacherous drive across the GTA and ongoing problems, many of them. Westbound on the 403 approaching Erin Mills, the two right lanes are now blocked because of a collision. Emergency crews just got on the scene here. So westbound 403 is jammed from just west of Mavis to approaching Erin Mills, and heavy again from Winston Churchill to just past the 407. And that's where the two left lanes are blocked with another collision. We still have a closure of the eastbound QEW. All lanes shut down from the 403 to Guelph line for an ongoing collision investigation. Delays as you approach Fairview, getting onto that ramp as you're forced off the highway. The southbound third line ramp to the eastbound QEW, that just reopened. But we still have a couple of problems on the westbound 401. The ramp to the 410 is closed because of a crash. And now a new problem, a westbound 401 at here, Ontario in the Express. The left lane is blocked with a collision. Traffic is already jammed from Dixie in the Express. And on city streets, Dufferin is closed in both directions north of Rogers Road because of the unsafe road conditions. And now with the forecast,
like 3 days to hide out in the woods, but I need coffee immediately.
Just been dropped, actually, through Mississauga, Brampton. So the snowfall warning is over. We still have the winter weather travel advisory for Toronto eastward to York and Durham with this blowing snow. The biggest issue right along the lake shore.
So
the wind
just
and
there
the snow
to confirm there is snow falling right now.
-14, and it's a dry Wednesday.
So how do you call the warning if it's the...
Tonight down to that low of -7 degrees. It is currently -2. Feels like -9 at Pearson.
This is 680 News.
Welcome to our first big snowfall of the new year. As you've been hearing in our traffic reports, not only is visibility near zero at times,
you got someone that do this estimation this one
Michelle Mackey joins us live from the Extreme Weather Center. Michelle.
Yeah, James, and the Extreme Weather Center is brought to you by
Confidence
in Motion. 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsahide says we still have a few centimeters of snow to go before this storm moves out between 8 and 9 p.m.
The heaviest snowfall rates were earlier this morning, but what has really been the issue through much of the day has been those gusty winds blowing the snow around and making for very poor visibility.
That's making for a nightmare driving on the roads.
There are actual snow drifts on the highway thanks to the blowing wind, the blowing snow all over the place. Roads are
over the place.
That's why Environment Canada still has winter weather travel advisories out for Toronto through Kingston, and the snow
you couldn't get any further from
Mississauga,
imagine coming from Jamaica to Canada. You couldn't get any further from the
expected to
ocean.
return tomorrow, but temperatures may take a nosedive through the end of the week with a daytime high of just -10 on Friday.
This
reporting
is
live.
no better than hitting a a wave and a boat.
This is 6 City News. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't. 6 City's Mark Douglas is near the QEW in Burlington and joins us live with what he's seeing there. Mark.
So, Jenna, it's been a day of snow, slush, and gusting winds, and a lot of crashes basically anywhere you go in the GTA in this weather. Gene here called our traffic center with a warning
Where's the
about how bad
demonstration?
it was earlier up on the 400 up in Cottage Country.
There are actual snow drifts on the highway thanks to the blowing wind, the blowing snow all over the place. Clouds are
Blowing snow all over the place. Real close.
Very slippery.
And while Gene says he's happy to see a lot of drivers with their full headlight system on, this
Maybe
caller
smokes
says
weed with
otherwise.
Jamaicans.
There are so many
He's
cars
under a lot of
driving
stress at the moment.
running lights on. They're just driving with the daytime light system on.
And from my own drive into work today, I saw
Yeah, it's
so
your
many
left
crashes
foot,
out on the
so go to
westbound
the right
401
foot,
beyond
so
12
nothing
line. And at
else.
one
No
point,
more
there were
else.
fire trucks I could see that could not get through all that backlog of traffic. Right now, the storm is certainly better than what it was at the height of the bad weather earlier this afternoon, but it's still slippery and greasy basically everywhere you go. Take it easy and drive slow. Reporting live from the QEW, I'm Mark Douglas.
All eastbound QEW remains closed from the 403 to Guelph line following a
These
deadly
roads got
crash.
18 lanes.
Two
Do we have
women,
a
one from
fire
Cambridge,
lane?
the
Where
other
was
from
that?
Sam, both in their 20s, were traveling west early this morning when their
You got
vehicle
elevated
crossed over
roads,
into
no
the eastbound
shoulders.
lanes of the highway, hitting an oncoming car and a pickup truck. LPP Constable Kevin West tells 6 City News they're still trying to figure out why the car crossed over.
There's no concrete explanation as to why the Mitsubishi went through the center median ditch as of yet. The speed may have been a factor as there was no traffic or weather conditions at that time.
The Toronto-bound lanes of the QE could remain closed until about 5 this
Speed may be the
afternoon.
factor. It's not
From the roads to the skies, the Prime Minister says new restrictions on travel are coming, and Premier Ford wants them to include mandatory testing upon arrival. For all international travelers, 6 Cities Phil Martino joins us live. Phil.
James, if Doug Ford had it his way, you would have to test for COVID-19 before you got on your flight to Canada and once again when you arrived here.
And so it's absolutely critical that the federal government make sure that it's mandatory to get tested.
GOVDERMENT.
Another test right here. So again,
Well, what's the point of having a test to get on the plane? You don't trust the test.
It's absolutely critical to protect our borders.
Premier also wants the federal
What do you do
government
with
to
them once
impose a
a year
temporary
and they
ban
fail
on
the
flights
test?
coming from countries where new COVID-19 strains are being detected. Now, over 6,800 international travelers have been tested for COVID-19 as part of the Ontario government's voluntary and free border testing pilot program at Pearson. It started on January 6th, according to the Ford government. Over 145 people have tested positive for the virus. Phil Martino, 6 City News.
If you made travel plans despite the public health advice to stay home, now's a good time to cancel them. The Prime Minister is warning more travel restrictions are coming soon.
The bad choices of a few will never be allowed to put everyone else in danger. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says nothing is off the table when it comes to travel restrictions both internationally and between provinces. And an announcement will be made in the coming days. The government is putting the finishing touches on new measures, with the Prime Minister saying they don't want any restrictions to have unintended consequences on trade in our supply chains. Trudeau hasn't ruled out strict travel bans or Australian-style quarantine rules that force people arriving in the country to stay in a hotel at their own expense. Meanwhile, the European Union is
not Australian style, that's Chinese
which
style.
could impact our Pfizer and Moderna doses. The Prime Minister says he's spoken with the CEOs of both companies and received assurances.
Canadian contracts that have been signed and the delivery schedule laid out will be
Give them the money,
There will be an
Justin.
emergency debate on vaccines in the House of Commons later today. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
For the second day in a row, the number of new COVID cases in Ontario is running below 2,000 with 1,740. About 700 of the new cases were in Toronto, 1,300 in Peel,
so that's
144 in York.
7/8 of 2,000.
The smallest
That's
report
7.
in about 2 months.
Well,
Toronto's
real
reporting
close.
an additional
7/8
63 deaths linked to the
Jesus
virus.
Christ.
And the New York Times reporting
And 1 in 8 cases, the WHO says, doesn't get reported. I just ruined my
New
own
data is being
bubble.
released from Canada's Mortgage and Housing Corporation on mortgage deferrals. CMHC says retail, construction, and services workers were the most common deferrers of mortgage payments in the first few months of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the country's housing authority points out the high numbers of deferrals correlated with data showing the retail, construction, and services industries were hit with the largest increases in unemployment during the pandemic. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, CMHC found government, education, and healthcare workers had below average shares of mortgage deferrals.
I think
The
that's
bulk of those people seeking deferrals were in Quebec, Alberta, Ontario, and BC. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker. Gas prices are next.
News is always changing. Now more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is 680 News.
Ask to play us on your smart speaker. Why would you shop at a Bob's store for a new garage door when you've got Dodge garage doors available? Dodge garage doors are higher quality and better priced with free at-home, no pressure consultations, all at your convenience. Never mind the Bob's doors. See Dodge garage doors now at DodgeDoors.com. And remember, no one does it better than Dodge does. No one.
Now, the 680 used gas price update and Pro predicting the price will rise a cent at midnight to just under $1.14 a liter. Traffic and weather together next.
From the little kid shooting hoops on the driveway with dad
To elite athletes at the top of their game.
for anyone who has ever bounced, kicked, spiked, or thrown a ball,
The emptiness is palpable. But we will return to the field, the pitch, the stadium.
we'll feel the sun on our faces and team spirit in our hearts.
We'll collectively rise up and cheer, we did it.
And it will be a healthy planet again.
HealthyPlanetCanada.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
680 News Time, 3:41.
Traffic and weather together on the ones who scary friends kiss.
This report is brought to you by Mr. Lube. Westbound 403, the collision approaching Erin Mills has cleared, but we still have this crash just past the 407, taking out the 2 left lanes. So a heavy backup on the westbound 403. It's jammed anywhere from Mavis to past the 407. Again, those 2 left lanes are blocked at that scene. This is where a jackknife tractor trailer happened to about a little over an hour ago now. So those emergency crews still working on putting the pieces of the tractor trailer onto 2 separate heavy tows. Eastbound QEW, all lanes remain closed from the 403 to Guelph line. This is for an ongoing collision investigation. So delays Toronto bound on the QEW heavy as you take the ramp to Fairview, and as well the eastbound 403 gets jammed up as you're approaching the QEW. You're being forced onto the Port Erie bound QEW. Take Plains Road or the eastbound 407. Westbound on the 401, a new problem approaching Port Union and the collectors. The left lane is blocked with a collision, a bit of a delay there. And a little bit of good news, westbound 401, the ramp to the 410, that has reopened, and the collision that was at here, Ontario and the Express, and that has been removed as well. But heavy traffic westbound 401 from here, Ontario and the Express, and from Mavis and the collectors to Mississauga Road. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, still going from Don Mills to York Mills, and northbound 400, really heavy from Rutherford to north of Highway 9. We have a new problem on the southbound 400, south of King Road, the right lane now blocked because of a collision, so watch out for that. There's just a minor delay. On city streets, Dufferin remains closed in both directions, north of Rogers Road. That's because the road conditions are so poor in that area. And as well, we have a new problem reported westbound on Finch approaching Dufferin. The left turn lane and the left lane are blocked because of a stalled truck. Mr. Lube is open every day for safe stay in your car services. From warranty-approved oil changes to tires, Mr. Lube, proudly Canadian since 1976. And now with the forecast, Natasha Ramsa. Hi.
All right, Carrie, we're looking at a winter weather travel advisory still for Toronto eastward. Snowfall warning's been dropped for the west end because the most snow has passed to our east, but we are still looking at significant blowing snow, even some freezing drizzle tonight, keeping things slippery, keeping that visibility low. Snow will gradually start coming to an end around 9-10 p.m. tonight, and then overnight clearing skies down to -7. It's a dry Wednesday, increasing cloud, a high of -4, but get ready for those wind chills in the minus 20s, and that's going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high of minus 7. Tonight down to a low of minus 7 degrees. It is currently minus 2, wind chill minus 9 at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Richard Southern.
Sledgehammer, quite the roller coaster ride for GameStop. The shares have just been halted after tumbling 20%. This was a stock that was trading some 95% higher. But then in moments down 20%, triggering circuit breakers on the NASDAQ. Right now, GameStop halted at $132.33. Looks like we're just resuming trade right now, and the stock is moving higher, $137 right now. We'll see where this roller coaster ride finishes at 4 o'clock. TSX is down. It is falling almost 100 points, 17,807. The Dow's up 4. We've got the Canadian dollar at 78.76 cents US. This is 680 News.
We're all rethinking risk these days. Your investments should be no exception. A financial advisor can help you build a resilient portfolio. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
Mask quality matters. It's a fact. Order your essential pandemic products from Serco.com and make the same choice doctors and hospitals have been making for over 60 years. We stock only premium medical grade products from trusted manufacturers. We have the medical N95 masks, nitrile gloves, and level 3 masks to protect your clinic, staff, and family. Free shipping on orders over $75 within Ontario. Visit Serco.com today. That's SURGO.com.
Mandarin is back with our dumpling festival to celebrate Chinese New Year in style. We've added festival favorites including siumai, beef pot stickers, and chicken dumplings to our extensive takeout and delivery menu of over 100 dishes. Don't miss Chinese New Year at Mandarin. Takeout and delivery has never been so easy or tasted so good. Ends February 28th while supplies last. A celebration of taste. Mandarin. Phone or order now at mandarinrestaurant.com.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Snowing and a wind chill reading of minus 10 in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon. I'm Sledgehammer Tabinzik.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
The weather is our top story. Winter weather travel advisory remains in place for the city of Toronto and areas to the east of us. Roads are slippery and visibility near zero at times. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't. The eastbound QEW remains closed from the 403 to Guelph line following a deadly crash. 2 women in their 20s, one from Cambridge, the other from Owen Sound, traveling west early this morning when their vehicle crossed over into the eastbound lanes of the highway. Police are still trying to determine what happened.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Alex Xero.
Sledgehammer Leafs defenseman Travis Durbin will be a healthy scratch for the first time since the 18-19 season. Durbin will take his seat for tonight's game in Calgary, with Mikko Lehtinen taking his spot on the blue line. 2 other changes, Jason Spezza and Alex Barabanov get the night off, with Joey Anderson and Travis Boyd coming in. Sportsnet will have the game at 9. Meantime, Leafs goaltender Jack Campbell will miss weeks with a leg injury suffered against the Flames on Sunday. That means Michael Hutchinson is now the backup. Joseph Wall is the third stringer. It is a record AAV for a catcher. The Phillies are signing JT Realmuto to a 5-year, $115.5 million deal. Well, tonight we'll find out who, if anybody, will be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2021. Announcement at 6. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., the Blue Jays will be introducing their new center fielder, George Springer. Yes, we will carry that live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet.ca. And Indiana Pacers forward Karis LeVert will not require further treatment after surgery to treat a cancerous mass on his left kidney. LeVert, who is out indefinitely, will be making a full recovery, so great news there. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at Sportsnet.ca/590.
Tonight on CBC.
Ooh, something special?
The moment you've been waiting for. Welcome back to Kids and Radio. TJ Upper Kids. The kids are back. And we got front row seats. For real? Yes. Very good.
Perfect.
And there's lots in store.
I have a lot to talk about, but it's probably good to talk about.
Kids Convenience. New episode. Tonight at 8 on CBC and CBC Gem.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's something you hear a lot this time of year. Making space in your life is what a new year is for. Get a fresh start in your home and your life with Access Storage. With a safe place to store the belongings you love but don't have space for. Access Storage can be your resolution solution with flexible and affordable storage options and more than 100 convenient locations in Ontario. Get on with your new year. Access Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit accessstorage.ca.
This is 680 News. In California. Many barbershops and hair salons are open for the first time in 2 months. And later this week, outdoor dining at restaurants can resume after stay-at-home orders were lifted yesterday.
In many areas of California, restaurants are now scrambling to get their outdoor dining areas back up and ready for customers. They had been left abandoned many weeks ago when much of California shut down all on-site dining. Here in LA, outdoor dining can resume at restaurants on Friday. And in San Francisco, Mayor London Breed says while it will feel good, that everybody needs to be careful.
Just keep in mind that this is just not an open door for us to all of a sudden let our hair down and do whatever we want to do.
Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A troop of gorillas at San Diego Zoo Safari Park appears to be recovering from COVID-19, including a 49-year-old silverback who received antibody therapy in what's believed to be the first known cases among such primates. Officials at the park say the western lowland gorillas were infected with a variant that's been circulating in California and is believed to be more contagious than other strains. Some gorillas showed symptoms including mild coughing, congestion, and intermittent lethargy. It's believed the apes were exposed by a zookeeper who tested positive for COVID in early January. Veterinarians are preparing to inject gorillas at the San Diego Zoo with a COVID-19 vaccine, a supply made specifically for animals. They're also planning to vaccinate other species believed to be susceptible to infection, including felines. Wildlife in other locations, from minks to tigers, have fallen ill with the virus. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the one.
License 10349.
Northwood Mortgage. People don't usually sing about their mortgage, but at Northwood Mortgage they do. They sing about lower rates. They sing about greater cash flow. They sing because we help them. You could be singing about your mortgage too. Come on, try it with us. Northwood Mortgage. Come on, try it. Northwood Mortgage. There you go. Call or visit us today at northwoodmortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
Scott McGilvery here. I've done hundreds of home renovations over the years, and I'm particularly careful about what I put under the floors. On my projects, I use DMX One Step 2.0. This easy-to-install underlayment has an air gap design that allows moisture to evaporate, and it doesn't require wood subfloors, which can be a food source for mold growth. DMX One Step can be used under most vinyl or laminate floors, so whatever you choose, you know your investment will be protected. DMX One Step 2.0. No mold, no cold. Find it at the Home Depot.
680 News Time 351. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Brunskis.
This report is brought to you by Search Kings. It has been quite the day on the roads, and we are nowhere near out of the woods right now. We have a number of problems on the go. Westbound on the 403, just past the 407. The 2 left lanes remain closed here for collision cleanup. Traffic is jammed on the westbound 403 from Winston Churchill to just past the 407. Westbound on the 401, approaching Port Union and the collectors. The left lane blocked with a collision that's backed up from just west of White's and the collectors. And it looks like we have a new problem now on the eastbound 401, east of Highway 25. Any updates appreciated at star 680 if you happen to be passing through. Try to avoid the eastbound 401, though, from Guelph line to east of Highway 25, because it's completely jammed through that stretch now. And I spotted a new problem on the eastbound 401 approaching Mavis and the Express. A right lane blocked with a collision. It's still going already as you approach Mississauga Road. Southbound 400, south of King Road, the right lane blocked there with a collision. Just a brief slowdown. It's much heavier on the northbound side of the 400. Delays anywhere from Major Mackenzie to north of Highway 9. Northbound Don Valley Parkway, that's busy from Don Mills up to York Mills. Northbound 404, no recent problems have been reported, but we did have an issue reported on the southbound 404 approaching Stouffville Road. A right lane blocked with a collision, a snowplow into the guardrail there, and the traffic spotter just updating me that that snowplow lost its blade. So it could be there for a while. And Toronto bound QEW, that is still closed from the 403 to Guelph line for a collision investigation. So expect delays, especially eastbound on the 403. Gets really heavy as you approach the QEW. In town, Dufferin is closed in both directions north of Rodford Road because of the poor weather and road conditions. Looking for better results from your Google advertising? Switch to Search Kings, winner of the Google Premier Partner Customer Satisfaction Award. Your search is over. Let Search Kings help your customers find you. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ransahide.
Tapering off in the West End, so all the warnings are over. The snowfall warnings out through Oakville and Burlington, but Toronto, north and east still under that winter weather travel advisory. Heavy snow to the north and then heavy blowing snow still along the lake. That east wind driving in winds of 50 to 70 kilometers per hour. That's going to taper off later this evening. So 9, 10 p.m. we'll finally start to see the snow taper off. Just another couple of centimeters, but the visibility is going to be an issue tonight. And then clearing skies overnight down to -7. Tomorrow's dry, a little bit of sun in the morning, increasing cloud and -4, and a cold stretch here heading into the weekend. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all 3 mornings will have wind chills near -25.
No, I'm just laying out in my head, like, you know, at night,
-7
you got
and
street
sunshine
lights
for
and people take
Friday
their
and
headlights on,
-9.
like it,
Overnight
right? So
tonight down to
maybe it will be easier or harder to see. But can we see right now? No. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Ozempic? That's right. Ozempic comes in a pre-filled pen. And good news, Ozempic is covered by most private insurance plans and ODB, the Ontario Drug Benefit Program.
Mouse, right?
Talk to your doctor today to see what Ozempic can do for you.
The big story. I'm your host, Jordan Heath Rollins. What is the Miami Group and how many millions were invested? Listen at thebigstorypodcast.ca or wherever you get your podcasts.
Business is next.
Hi, I'm Marina Melisani from Nature's Emporium with our president, Joe D'Addario. Joe, what's different about the service of Nature's?
We have knowledgeable and caring staff in every department to help you through these unprecedented days. Our team works around the clock to ensure the shelves are stocked, health questions are answered, and curbside orders are fulfilled 7 days a week. Also, we will have...
That's what that means. It's one of them days where there's no president. It's a bad day.
Visit one of our 4 locations, naturesemporium.com.
This is the first sound you hear when we get hit by a snowstorm. And this is the second sound you hear. Snow plows on the DVB and the Gardner. The city has over 5,600 kilometers of roads to salt and plow. And in order to get more people where they need to go safely,
tell us all the apps you guys have for
roads and
this.
transit routes first, before moving on to residential streets. It's how we keep you moving, Toronto. Get to know the plan for snow in Toronto.
Bo Jackson, Magic Johnson, and Shaquille O'Neal shoveling a Toronto driveway. Or 3 Toronto driveways.
Time 3:56.
Now the 60 News Business Report. Here's Richard Southern.
Yeah, we haven't seen a story like this. I don't know, maybe never. We're talking about GameStop. Unbelievable moves. It's making another ascent towards the moon again today, Switchette. And it looks like GameStop is going to go out here at or very close to the highs of the day. We're up 91% right now on GME, $147 US. This is a stock that has gone straight up as of late as individual investors coming out of Reddit chat rooms piled into the stock, prompting hedge funds and short sellers to scramble to cover their losing bets. That short squeeze has driven the stock sharply higher. Are institutional investors going long on this thing? Are they buying GameStop now? Let's ask Greg Taylor. He's the Chief Investment Officer at Purpose Investments.
No, not in the GameStop. We've had some BlackBerry and different funds over the last few months, but we've taken our profits from that on this move. And we'll look for better levels to react to those positions once the volatility comes down.
We got BlackBerry right now up 3.4%, $23.70. This is a name that's up about 65% over the past 5 days. Also part of the story is of the Reddit traders looking at these stocks that have a lot of short interest. So we're going to see where we finish on GameStop. It's up 86% right now, $143 US this year. Other interesting stories going on here. Your dog might say it's a good thing. Martha Stewart is launching cannabis pet products. The lifestyle guru coming out with a line of cannabis-infused oil.
Wasn't she rolling with Snoop Dogg for a while then?
For your dog. Stewart is banking on a partnership with Canada's Canopy Growth to do this. She claims that the weed doggy treats can help with mental and physical well-being of the pups, reduce stress, and maintain their joint health and movement. joint, no pun intended there. TSX a little bit lower here as we approach the end of the trading day. It's down 98 points. The Dow is turning lower. It's down 29, 30,930. Nasdaq's down 17. Canadian dollar 78.7 cents. US. The latest on the snow next on 680 News.
Virtual by Nespresso. Redefining coffee. Savor a new morning ritual. Innovative technology means preparing your perfect cup of coffee has never been so simple. Allowing you to start your day in the most exceptional way. Virtual. Morning coffee redefined. Nespresso.
Light roast coffee.
We know it can be hard to balance your savings goals and enjoy your life today, but the Scotiabank Savings Accelerator account can help. For a limited time.
Un intellectuel dans la cité.
Aujourd'hui l'histoire, ce soir 20h, sur les premières.
Ce soir 20h. It's 21. No, it's not. What's up? Hold on. Let's do it across 4 hours from now. It's 4. This is 4 hours from now. That's good.
Bonjour, ici Lynn Françoise Pelletier à Toronto. Il est 16h. Voici les informations. L'Ontario recense son plus faible nombre de cas depuis la mi-décembre. L'augmentation quotidienne de nouvelles infections se trouve sous la barre des 2000 pour une deuxième journée d'affilée. Les explications d'Anne-Marie Tricky. La santé publique de l'Ontario rapporte 1740 nouvelles infections à la COVID-19 dans son dernier bilan. Mais le nombre de tests de dépistage...
I'm James Monroe.
I'm still Janet Tavinsik. Here are the top stories right now.
Snow and powerful wind making for a nightmare drive.
Our Texas low has brought winter back to the GTA.
Snowfall warnings remain in
That
place
doesn't add up to
for
me.
the Golden Horseshoe.
Eastbound QEW remains
All
closed
this
in the
humid
403
air
to Guelph line
keeps
for a
the
double fatal collision investigation. 2 women in their 20s died. Heavy delays in both directions.
The Premier is urging the federal government to make COVID-19 testing mandatory for all international travelers.
No politics, no nothing.
Doug Ford says it's absolutely critical to protect our borders.
Leafs lose Jack Campbell to a leg injury as Toronto is once again in Calgary tonight. And will anybody be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame? Sports at 15.
The unstoppable Reddit GameStop closing higher by 91.25%. TSX in the red.
Toronto, mais aucune éclosion. Il s'agit du tribunal à North York. Le ministère assure que la santé publique de Toronto a ouvert une enquête dès l'apparition d'un premier cas le 18 janvier. Il ajoute que les employés qui auraient pu être exposés au virus ont été priés de se placer en isolement à la maison. Le ministère précise que toutes les causes y sont entendues de façon virtuelle et non en personne. Une compagnie pharmaceutique torontoise lance aujourd'hui les essais cliniques pour un vaccin canadien contre la COVID-19. 60 bénévoles participent à la première phase de ces essais. Nicolas Haddad a rencontré l'équipe qui a développé ce vaccin.
La pharmaceutique torontoise Providence Therapeutics a entamé les essais.
Right now, if you're heading into the city and using the northbound DVP to leave, we've got delays from Dundas to York Mills, and it's slow Stouffville Road. If you're on the southbound 404 DVP approaching Stouffville Road, we've got a collision in the right lane. A snowplow went into the guardrail. It lost its blade, so look out for that. And then we do have south of Baby Bloor collision now in the right lane, so just be careful. That's not quite causing a delay just yet. Westbound on the Gardner, west of Kipling, there's a stalled transport in the right shoulder. Heavy tow on scene. Visual distraction there. Taking the eastbound 401 right now, east of Highway 25. It looks like we might have a collision there. So really heavy delays are formed from Guelph line to east of 25. If you're driving through that stretch, give us a call, star 680. Then on the east 401 approaching Mavis and the Express, 2 right lanes blocked off due to a collision. That's causing a delay from Winston Churchill. Westbound on the 401 approaching Port Union and the Collectors, give an update. 2 left lanes now blocked off due to this crash, and that's causing a delay from west of White's Road and the Collectors. We've also got volume from Huron Ontario Express, Mavis Collectors to Mississauga Road. 407 ETR continues to be one of the safest choices for drivers, preparing in advance for winter snowfalls and responding quickly whenever needed. Please drive according to conditions. With your forecast now, here is Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, winter weather travel advisory has just ended for the city of Toronto, still in effect north and east of the downtown core of the 416. Still blowing snow is going to be an issue, though, especially along the lakeshore with those wind gusts of 50 to 70 kilometers per hour.
Nobody told the weather pattern that it was done.
Still an issue through tonight, and then overnight as the winds east, skies clear, we'll be down to -7. It's a dry Wednesday with increasing cloud and colder at -4. Tonight down to below -7 degrees. It is currently -2, wind chill -9 at Pearson.
680 U sign 404.
Well, you don't have to be anywhere today. Stay home. You may run into whiteout conditions at times. The roads are also treacherous, but all these snowfall warnings have been dropped.
680's Michelle Mackey is at the Extreme Weather Center and joins us live with the latest. Michelle.
So, Jana, the Extreme Weather Center is brought to you by Super Confidence in Motion. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow will blanket Toronto by the time this system moves out after about 8 tonight. That's the most snow we've recorded since Christmas Day. And while most of that snow has already fallen, 680 meteorologist Natasha Ramsey says wind gusts over 50 kilometers an hour are still impacting drivers.
What?
Because that wind has been off the lake, out of the east, the strongest wind gusts have been right along the lakeshore, and that's where we've been finding the lowest visibilities.
And that's why Environment Canada still has winter weather travel advisories in place for York, Durham through Kingston. The snowfall warning for Halton, Peel, and advisory for Toronto has now dropped. Now, sunshine is expected to return tomorrow, but temperatures take a nosedive at the end of the week, with a daytime high of just -9 on Friday, the coldest air that we've had so far this season. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
So snowplows and salters making their way around the GTA on various routes, but the roads are still dangerous. 680's Mark Douglas is near the QEW in Burlington and joins us live. Mark.
James, it's been a non-stop day of jackknifed 18-wheelers and vehicles into ditches. Callers to our traffic center have been telling us about terrible driving conditions all around from the north side of the GTA.
404, the north end of 404 between Davis and Green Lane, near whiteout conditions, so it's pretty bad.
And all the way out to the QEW and 403.
3 different accidents, each one of them with transport trucks involved. 2 are
excellent cell phone coverage.
From the 401
every single one of
them
them excellent cell phone.
Noon hour today, I saw 3 or 4 serious collisions on the westbound side of the 401, just between Guelph Line and Highway 6 alone. That's not a very long stretch, but it had a lot of crashes, and the traffic backlog was so jammed up at one spot, fire trucks couldn't even get through. The worst of the weather seems to be behind us now, but it's still slickly and slippery and sloppy everywhere you go.
People try to get by on the shoulder because you're
reporting live near the QEW of Burlington, I'm Mark Douglas.
The New York Times is reporting we've hit over 100 million cases of COVID-19 across the planet. Here today in Ontario, new cases of the virus continue to trend downwards. Ontario reporting 1,740 new cases. 3 of the hotspots in the GTA, Toronto, Peel, and York regions continue to see cases drop as well. The province is also reporting 63 more deaths linked to the virus. There's been a decline, though, in testing, with that just under 31,000. In this batch, Ontario has a testing capacity of more than 70,000 per day.
The Premier made a stop at Pearson today, urging the federal government to make COVID testing mandatory for every single international traveler who arrives on Canadian soil. 680's Phil Martino joins us live. Phil.
James, Doug Ford is calling on the federal government to adopt mandatory testing upon arrival for all international travelers and to impose a temporary ban on flights coming from countries where new COVID-19 strains are being detected.
This is simple, folks. No politics, no nothing. You land in Toronto or other areas, and as far as I'm concerned, they have to be tested. Simple as that. We aren't the first country to require this, and we wouldn't be the last.
Over 6,800 international travelers have been tested for COVID-19 as part of the province's voluntary and free border testing pilot program at Pearson. It started January 6th. Now, the government says over 2% have tested positive. Ontario is also calling on the federal government to strengthen enforcement of quarantine measures, such as isolation hotels. According to the Prime Minister, new restrictions on travel are coming.
Phil Martino, 680 News.
If you
And
show up
MPs
in
are preparing for an emergency debate in the House of Commons tonight.
How you're going to self-isolate. You have to go with the Canadian forces to
put everyone else in danger. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says nothing's off the table when it comes to restrictions for both international and domestic travel, and an announcement will be made in the coming days. The government's putting the finishing touches on new measures, with the feds trying to make sure there are no unintended consequences for trade. Meanwhile, the European Union threatening to restrict exports of vaccines, which could impact our Pfizer and Moderna doses. The Prime Minister says he's spoken with the CEOs of both companies and received assurances.
Canadian contracts that have been signed and the delivery schedule laid out will be respected.
But Conservative Deputy Leader Candice Bergen is skeptical and notes the current disruptions are already having dire consequences.
The Liberals' failure to deliver vaccines is costing lives.
The feds say everyone that wants a vaccine will get one by September. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
This portion of the news brought to you by Butler Mortgage. We'll track gas next.
This
is 680 News.
Every day, Canadians are buying homes and getting low mortgage rates. Important announcement. If you have a home mortgage closing in the next 90 days, 1.38% 5-year fixed mortgage rates are available at butlermortgage.ca. No matter what you were told or what you signed, you can still switch to 1.38% 5-year fixed. No gimmicks, no fees. Standard mortgages at 1.38% 5-year fixed. To learn if you qualify, go to butlermortgage.ca now.
License number 12118, high ratio fixed rate APR of 1.39%. Now, 680 News, gas price update. Enpro says that the price will rise at midnight to put $1.13.9.
Since the dawn of time, humans have been pursuing food. First in open plains and lush forests, and later in the crowded aisles of grocery stores. Today, that pursuit is over. With good food, you can get delicious, ready-to-cook meals like caramelized onion baked cheese tortellini delivered right to your home. Because some things are better left in the past. Good food, eating evolved. Visit makegoodfood.ca.
With the You Deserve a VW sales event, you get more for less. That's more control, more space, and definitely more of this. She's been doing that for hours. Impressive. Lease a Volkswagen from just 0.99% for 24 months. Like the Tiguan with an optional third row, the Jetta with its digital cockpit, and the 7-seat Atlas. Offer ends February 1st. Contact a dealer, visit VW.ca to shop online.
Volkswagen. 680 News time, 411.
Traffic and weather together on the ones covered on you.
We've got good news and bad news. Good news, it's actually great news. Eastbound QEW is now reopened between the 403 and the Guelph line area. That's been closed for quite some time. So now it's open. We've got plows going through all lanes though. So you can expect it to be really slow because all that snow buildup just had to be taken care of. So plows are on the roadway, but all live lanes are reopened. We've still got a delay from North Shore to the 403 because of this previous closure, and the Brant ramps are still shut down heading on to the East QEW. So just a heads up on that one. Eastbound on the 403, the ramp to the East QEW, that's still closed due to this collision, but we can anticipate all of this reopening quite soon. If you're on the westbound 403, just past the 407, we've got collision cleanup going on in the left lane, and that's causing a delay from Winston Churchill. If you're headed on to the westbound Gardner, west to Kipling, we've got a right shoulder block to the stalled transport, heavy tow unseen. West QEW is moving just fine right now. Northbound on the DVP, it's slow from Dundas to York Mills, then delays up near Stouffville Road. Southbound on that route, we've got an issue approaching Stouffville Road. A right lane blocked with a collision. A snowplow actually hit the guardrail and it lost its blade. So just a heads up on that. We've also got south of Bayview Bloor on the southbound DVP, a right lane blocked with a collision. If you're headed on the eastbound QEW, east of Highway 25, the left lane is closed with a collision. We've got delays from Guelph line to east of 25, really slow through that stretch. Then approaching Mavis in the Express, 2 right lanes blocked with a collision. So that's backing things up from Winston Churchill to approaching Mavis. And just getting this in from MTO. We're not exactly sure which point it's at, but near Young in the Express, there's a right lane block to the stalled vehicle. We'll have more on that in a few minutes. But westbound on the 401 approaching Port Union in the Collectors, 2 left lanes blocked to the crash. Delays west of White's Road in the Collectors. And then it's slow here Ontario Express, Mavis Collectors to Mississauga Road. A few things cleared up on city streets. Westbound Finch approaching Dufferin, that is clear. And northbound Allen, the ramp to Wilson Heights is clear as well. Your next report's at 421 with your your forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahide.
It is areas to the northeast of the 416 still under the winter weather travel advisory. But if you're downtown along the lake, especially from about Bathurst west, you're like, why?
And there's houses and buildings built on these hills. There's like water.
Still an issue. We've got that wind off the lake driving. Still another couple of centimeters, much reduced visibility along the lake shore. And then in addition, north of Markham, you're into some of that heavier snow. Everything's going to start easing after midnight. So the blowing snow is an issue through this evening. Overnight with clearing skies will be down to -7. And then tomorrow, a little bit of sun in the morning. Otherwise, it's pretty cloudy in the afternoon with a high of -4. Thursday, partly cloudy at -7, but that morning wind chill, -23. Tonight, we're down to about -7 degrees. It is currently -3, feels like -9 at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute for Richard Southern.
James Earnings Central here after the bell. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, beating the street. The stock popping almost 2% in the extended trade. Microsoft, top and bottom line beat, taking that stock up about 5%. Make that 6% now in the extended trade. But never mind that. It's the stock everyone's talking about today. GameStop going bananas again amid this Reddit trade. GameStop closing up 91.25%, $146.88 US. TSX falling more than 100 points. The Dow today down 22. This is 680 News.
When it comes to investing, it's time to consider the alternatives. Dynamic Funds sees diversification differently. Ask a financial advisor how.
Lasers that can blind the sensors on satellites, and radio frequency jammers that can make it impossible for you to communicate with your satellite.
Well, so Todd, did they take note of the American dominance in Afghanistan and Iraq?
What have you
really at the turn of the millennium? When, I mean, a lot of these space-guided missiles, the cruise missiles, the smart bombs, and all the rest of that. I mean, they were really undeterred from launching this kind of warfare. I mean, it was a one-sided affair. Is that something that got the interest of the Chinese? Made an obvious show to them if we're going to compete and make sure that we're not threatened in a similar fashion maybe down the road. We got to play the game.
Snow is blowing upward. I'm not making that up.
That's exactly right. If you go back to the 1990s and, the way that the U.S. military swiftly pushed back the Iraqi army in 1991, and then Bosnia and Kosovo. And also, don't forget the standoff between the U.S. and China over Taiwan back in the 1990s, where the U.S. military moved in its naval forces and forced China to back down. What China realized is that if it's, going to be able to fight the United States or deter the United States from intervening in its part of the world, it's going to have to fight asymmetrically. And so it started looking for, what is the Achilles heel of the American military. And it became pretty clear, throughout the 1990s that we were relying more and more on space systems for our military operations. And those space systems were largely unprotected. And so that's why we believe that's one of the reasons that China sought to develop its anti-satellite weaponry. So that it could hold our space assets at risk, and that would be an asymmetric advantage it would have against the United States.
But Todd, I mean, this seems very familiar back in the days of Ronald Reagan and the Cold War, the Soviet Union. There was that thing, mutually assured destruction. There was an arms race. Reagan really believed as well that, we could outspend the Soviets and therefore they would crater. I mean, they implode as a consequence of playing the game. But are we in a similar situation now where it's going to be, an arms race effectively in outer space?
I don't think it is because it's not to the advantage of the United States to do what China is doing. It's not to our advantage to build anti-satellite weapons.
But it's China just put up like a whole fucking satellite fucking navigation system.
And so, if they could shoot down 10 of our satellites and we could shoot down 10 of theirs, that doesn't make it equal. They still have the advantage there. So I think this is different because it's not a symmetric competition where we're just trying to build as many weapons as we can.
So what came to my mind was I think China must have seen what happened with Russia and the United States over the last
anti-satellite weapons of various kinds.
I figured that's not going to help anybody.
Really, our best response is to improve our defense.
And instead, they became
one of the better space defenses, so we can protect our systems against these different forms of attack.
And so, how do
that's the thing, they don't count straight when they tell us who's got money and
whoever else might be coming on screen here with their own,
quality of life.
Private, let's say, incursions to outer space and payloads and all the rest of that. How does that help the American military?
Yeah, I think it helps in two ways. One is, space is becoming more diverse, right? We're seeing, more countries get access to space. We're seeing more private businesses start to use space for different purposes. And I think, entrepreneurs, billionaires, space billionaires like Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, I think that, they are really opening up space to many more applications. And that gives more countries, more people, more companies something
says every 10 minutes, it's every 10
it is a shared environment, and the more people that have something at stake in it, I believe that the better the outcome is going to be, because we're more likely to all work together against any bad actors in space. The second thing that they're doing is they are really pushing the limits of technology, and in some cases, they are disrupting the space industry. And a lot of, kind of the older space contractors that the U.S. military used to depend upon. And I think that, constructive, disruption that we're seeing in space is actually going to allow the military to make advances and to innovate in ways to better protect our space systems. So I think, they're helping, by making space more diversified and being more disruptive in the industry.
Well, I guess, it behooves a lot of those people who have the means to get up there and travel before they blow it all up. But that's what we talked about earlier, $55 million for each of these individuals who want to go and spend 8 days on the International Space Station. It's still that attractive a proposition if you've got the means. Good to talk.